Hey, Dr. Masi Reynolds here. Before we get started, please remember that this podcast is for informational purposes only. The ideas and opinions shared here represent our own and are not meant to be taken as medical advice. Listening does not create a doctor-patient relationship, and we always recommend speaking with a qualified healthcare provider for any health-related decisions. This show is independent of our professional roles and reflects our own personal perspectives. Yeah, I think we just continue on that riff because I want to hear that. I want to hear that story.
So for those of you that weren't watching when we weren't filming, I was telling them reality TV and how much it filming absolutely destroys tattooing for you.
Yeah,
sucks all the inspiration out. But that was your question.
Was it for you? So give me a little background on it because
we're
I
not
didn't
necessarily the star.
Yeah.
It was unique because I loved the way they did. The customer was the important person.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I saw them ruin when they did LA Ink and New York Ink is they tried to make, like Kat per se, try to make her the star. Yeah. And then they had all these and these famous people come in and get tattooed. And it was like, man, who gives a fuck about these people? It was their stories were so vapid, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what I loved about Miami Ink because you had these ordinary people that had extraordinary stories. And I mean, even in New York, they had some people that came in. I mean, dude, I tattooed I was one of the guys who tattooed the Hudson River plane crash survivors. That was incredible to hear that story because there's two parts. There's the geese going through the engines and exploding the engines, and then just hearing the wind on the side of the plane, no engine noise at all, nothing, and then being like, holy shit, what's going on? And to landing, to thinking they were going to die, to where people actually stood up. This is wild. Yeah. They stood up and they turned around and they looked in the seat behind them.
Yeah.
And they didn't know why. The people on the plane that didn't do this didn't understand that until later. And they learned that it's because they thought they were dead. From the plane crash, and they were seeing if their body was behind them. They were having an out-of-body experience.
Holy shit. Because
it was so traumatic to land a plane in a river and think when does a plane crash in a river and it survives?
Yeah, never.
Never. You see all these videos, and you're like, no, you're dead.
Right.
So then that was the first part of their journey. And then the next part was for them to all get on that wing of the plane and tugboats to come. And, they don't have ladders. They're not expecting people. You don't realize how high a boat is out of the water.
Right.
How you're just going to climb up it,
Right.
So they had to make human ladders, and people were climbing on top of each other to get over, kind of like that part in zombie movie with Brad Pitt, where the zombies all climb over each other and then get into Jerusalem or
the human ladder.
Yeah, the human ladder. Yeah. So they told this amazing, incredible story. And the guy did say, just so you know, that Captain Sully was a total hero. And I know Sully was the last one off of that wing because I was the second to last. I told him, let me help you up, Captain. And he said, no, I will be the last person off of this plane. And he helped him up.
Yeah.
And that was the guy that I tattooed. And then they cut this story down into like 5 minutes and then cut to so-and-so having a drama argument in the shop. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? This is,
there's a quote out there that I really like, and Dylan and I talked about it before, is production is the enemy of authenticity.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Right? I mean, taking a story like that and distilling it down to whatever is never going to do it the justice.
Yeah, you don't need to overproduce things. Some things just flow perfectly. Just capture it. Do your best to capture it. And I like that about the producer or director, whatever you want to call it. In reality, they say executive producer or something.
Yeah, the EP.
But the EP, with this guy Craig, I loved working with Craig. We still talk. We're still friends.
Yeah,
and he just kind of let things happen rather than overproduce.
Right,
and we all loved working with him. And unfortunately, I mean, it could have gone on further in Miami, but the guys were over it.
Mm-hmm.
And they had an opportunity to get out of their contracts, and
Yeah.
they did. And
Yeah.
I still think there was a lot of milk left in that cow. They could have
Yeah.
kept milking it. But I was only there at their request for that last season.
Yeah.
And I was along for the ride. So
Yeah.
whatever they want to do. But I like the way he did that. But yeah, New York, I just think that, and they were getting a lot of pressure. It's not the producer's fault. They were getting a lot of pressure to more reality and focus on us, which I'm like, no, man, the customer, that's the person that has the story.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was a thing that people could relate to. Anyone can relate to that. It's an ordinary person with an extraordinary story that happened to them. And they want to hear that. They don't want to, cut to Robert yelling at, someone, Tommy, over this whole thing. They want to, focus on the stories, on the tattoos. And I think that's just something that they missed, and that's why those shows don't really go anymore. And now it's all competition shows. And
did you feel like you were at your best with regards to what you do in that experience, or do you feel like, because a little bit of background is that, a little bit of background is that I know a big part of obviously your talent in tattooing is also how much you get to know that person, right? And the experience at which you're providing for them, in addition to actually the tattoo itself, right? And my guess is that, and I'll let you answer that question, right? But my guess is that that was probably a struggle for you.
It was so contrived. It was so like pulled apart. And rather than me meet this person and them tell their story and me hear it right then and there and find it so fascinating, interesting, and then talk to him about, like, or just listen. Sometimes it's so far, I can't comprehend what they're going through. I haven't been through it. So I just listen.
Right.
And then we do the tattoo on them, and then get the tattoo. That's like a really pinnacle moment for them in their life, and look at it and sometimes cry or just be so excited that they've made this mark, this moment in their life. And then, sometimes we hug after. I just met this person 2 hours, 3 hours before. We hug and they leave, and it's this beautiful experience to be like, okay, we have your meeting, your consultation set up at 8:30, and then we're going to do interviews, and then we're going to try to get you in to get that tattoo at noon, but it depends on how the schedule goes. And then, it tears it all apart. It breaks it down into so many different segments. We're like, well, you're
that's
kind
exactly
of ruining the
at.
experience. Yeah. You mind if I take off my
No,
sweater?
no, go ahead. Yeah.
So actually, I'll tell you a little story. No way, Billy's calling you.
Billy's calling. We'll connect with him later. I'll give him a call later. And so, he's the glue here between you and I.
Yeah, totally. But so I'll make it quick. This guy walked in. I was working at this shop in Covina, actually, up in the valley, and this guy walked in. Didn't have a tattoo on him. He was a big, tall guy from Hawaii, and he had a manila envelope with him. And just right when he walked in, I'm not kidding you, 2 minutes before he walked in, somebody called me, my appointment at 3 p.m. at like 3:02, and said, I'm sorry, I can't make my appointment. I go, cool. Thanks for shooting me in the wallet. I'm going to twiddle my thumbs for the next 4 hours.
I got nothing else going on.
Yeah, and I hung up the phone. I was so irritated. And then this guy walks in. So the helper is flirting with some girl in the bathroom. So, oh, no, I mean, it's not in the bathroom. That sounds terrible. In the piercing room. Sorry, the piercing room. He's flirting with some girl in the piercing room. So I go out and I help the person. And I'm like, hey, what's going on, And he says, I'm trying to get this, see about getting a tattoo. I go, okay, is what you want in that manila envelope? And he goes, yeah, it is. Can I show it to you? And he pulls out this really cool photo. It's one of those old wartime photos, World War II.
Yeah.
There's this young kid in I say kid, but he's probably in his early 20s. Maybe late teens. And he's, got a sailor whites on and he's smiling. And it's that beautiful, like kind of single light source, black and white photo that they used to take. And he goes, I was thinking about getting this tattooed. Can something like that be done? Now, at this time when that person canceled, I was booked up for like 3-4 months with just portraits. That was like my thing. Everyone came to me for portraits. And I go, yeah, I could do this for you, And he goes, are you sure? He's never had a tattoo on him. He goes, can you actually make it look like him?
Yeah.
And I go, yeah, I can do this for you.
That's what I do.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, man, I can do this for you. He goes, really? You can make this into a tattoo? He knows nothing about tattoos.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, man, do I look anything less than 100% confident that I can make this tattoo for you? And he goes, no, you seem pretty confident. I go, you got time now? You want to do it now? He's all, yeah, is that okay? That's totally fine. So I get it prepared. And back then I used to have to make, a tracing off of the original photocopies, different things. I get everything set up and I bring him back and I start tattooing him and I'm asking him, a story. I say, obviously this is important to him. So I go, hey, is your dad still alive? Has he passed away? And he goes, actually, I just put him in the ground this morning. I'm like, bro, are you serious?
Heavy.
He goes, yeah. And I was just sitting there and I'm looking at the casket of my father in front row. And there's a picture of him just before he died and a picture of him when he, this photo.
Yeah.
And he's like, I just want to look at that photo for the rest of my life.
Wow.
So I got a hold of you guys. And I said, how'd you find out about this shop? And he's all, you guys are the biggest ad in the phone book.
Yeah.
And I go, okay, well, cool, man. And so, not that I don't try hard on every tattoo, but man, I really made sure this was, I'm sure, there's certain surgeries where you're like, you're a great surgeon.
Yeah.
But there's certain procedures you're like, man,
Yeah.
don't make any mistakes. And there's only mistakes that I would see. No one else would see them.
You're just puckered a little bit more.
Just a little bit more. And, I did the tattoo and he's from Hawaii and we ended up knowing a few mutual friends out there. And, he looked at the tattoo after it was done and he started sobbing and, did I get emotional still telling the story because I lost my father, So I got emotional and we both kind of laughed about it and we hugged and I bandaged up his tattoo and he just couldn't believe it. He was like, Tim, you should do portraits more often.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, man, maybe I will. And he goes, okay, man, well, it was nice meeting you. I'm glad I walked in today. And he left. And there's just no way you could ever record that and produce that.
No.
That just had to be a natural thing that happened in life. The helper came back. He was like, man, I saw that whole thing. That was so crazy. I can't believe, why didn't you tell him, And I go, why would I ruin it?
Yeah,
it was beautiful. It was poetic. It was perfect. That guy walked into the right place at the right time and got the tattoo that he deserved.
Yeah. And you do such a good job of not being desensitized to it, right? Because it's your 1,000th, whatever number tattoo that you've done. But what I've heard you say too is that obviously this situation is a little heavier, but someone coming into you is probably their first, or potentially, obviously their first. And
it's one of the most important things that I try to stress with my guys that work for me and also I with myself.
Yeah.
Is that even though it may be my 10th or 20,000th or 30,000th tattoo or whatever it is, that it's a very important moment in their life.
Yeah.
And I treat it as such. And I really do believe in the client experience.
Yeah.
And if you give them that wonderful experience and a good tattoo, that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
It's just,
it's
important.
People don't remember. Obviously a tattoo, they have that memory, but they don't remember the details of interactions. They remember how they feel during that interaction, right?
Yes.
That's what sticks with them is the emotions that were there during whatever moment.
Yeah.
And I feel like you and I are similar in that I know medicine and obviously tattoo aren't similar, but in the same way people come to see us, right?
Yes.
They're probably coming into my office on potentially their worst day, right? And for me, it's whatever 1,000, patient that I'm seeing is taking that moment to reset and recognize that, right? As, this may be another ACL for me, but this is the first time they're ever going through this.
Yeah.
Right?
And being a good, and I don't know if you agree, but being a good surgeon is totally unrelated from being you have good bedside manner and connecting with the person, And if you have both of those, which I believe you do, if you have both of those, man, that's a big deal because there's surgeons that are just like robots.
We weren't meant to be technicians. And and you're absolutely right. There are, and obviously we'll go through your procedures probably at some point during these conversations. There are incredible technical doctors out there who can't seem to talk their way out of a wet paper bag and connect with the human, right? And I see it going on through my training. And it wasn't that I intentionally was pushing to find that connection, but I realized that I'm better if I can understand the person that's in front of me, which
Yeah.
is why we try to take that time.
Yeah.
to
And
do
and
it.
you know
And
what
so,
though?
yeah,
If something happened,
yeah,
which something will
Yeah.
in my life, if
Right.
something happened and the best surgeon that I can find for the job
hmm
is one of those people and
Yeah.
is either on the spectrum or
Yeah.
whatever, has like Asperger's and
Right.
is just can't function on
Yeah.
on any kind of social level,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care.
yeah,
He's still the best person for the job.
That's
That's fine.
absolutely
But if I
right.
can have both,
yeah.
amazing.
That's right. Yeah, and
So-
different specialties probably. It's probably less or more important depending on what the specialty is. But I love that you understand that experience, and
Yeah.
that's obviously one of many reasons that I'm connected to you and inspired by you. Is that's such an important part of me. Is I think it's part of the outcome, and I think you think the same thing with regards to the work that you're doing. Is it's part of the entire thing, right? It's the
Yes.
experience. That you
Yeah,
go
that's
through. So,
it's so important.
yeah.
People walk through my tattoo shop door, and honestly, it's like welcome to Subway type
Yeah.
of stuff. We're like,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
how are you guys? Come
Yeah.
on in. They're almost taken back on how nice we are
Yeah.
because they expect to get an attitude when they walk into
Right.
a tattoo shop, and I fucking hate
I
that
know.
shit.
I know.
It drives me crazy.
Yeah, you take down those barriers right away, right? You
Yeah,
strip down that wall
immediately.
and you remove those barriers, and just the quote that I like to is just go first, right? Just be the first to take down
Yes.
those barriers, those walls, whatever it is that's intimidating for anyone in and around that presence. Just remove it. And,
yeah, it's
and,
so easy.
And then you give permission for them to let go and be their authentic selves, and then they can communicate to you better what they are looking for, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it changes everything.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
So what's this? My knee?
Oh yeah. Well, I brought. Actually, I know you probably. I think you showed me
Dude.
X-rays of your hands. So we'll have to some point get
You know what's
all that
funny
stuff
is-
as well.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me
No.
let me get this out of my bag real
Dude,
quick.
I got all your dirt here. I
Because-
got your shoulders. I got your wrist. I got your knee. I got so many questions, man. I haven't seen you in
Dude,
a while.
so I know. So I was sitting down. My son actually came up. He's like, "What are you doing?"
yeah.
And
yeah.
I go, "Well, I'm
You could.
writing down.
Oh shit.
I'm literally writing down all my injuries because there's no way." And he goes, "Look at this. I mean, look at this."
Can we put that? Can you? Do you have you doesn't have Wi-Fi, or can you connect that?
So
to
he
that?
goes like this.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Believe me when I tell you my penis is slightly larger than this. But no, I
That is
I wrote
good.
this all down, and my son Trip, my oldest,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
came up and he's all, "What are you doing?"
What is
And I
that?
go, "I'm writing down all my injuries."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Why?"
Yeah.
I'm all, "Well, because I have that podcast with Masi
Yeah.
tomorrow, And he goes, "I know, but why are you writing them down?" I go, "This is what I said to him. I go, Trip, if you had this many injuries, and these are my major ones. These
Yeah.
aren't like my,
Yeah. These aren't my sore
Yeah.
knee or
I go,
wrist. Yeah.
You think you could remember this off the fly, like right off the cuff?"
Yeah.
And he goes,
Yeah.
he just laughed. And he's all, "No."
Yeah.
And I go, "Okay." So I
Yeah.
wrote them down.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I want to talk.
There
I
might
wanna-
be some things spelled wrong.
I want to go
but
through. Let me see that.
You want to look at it? Yeah.
Yeah. Can we get it up on the screen?
Some of them aren't major.
Yeah.
But there's things I was like, well, I'll just write it down.
The one that I know that most people know about is the wrist. Obviously, it was I think a motorcycle.
Oh, because I
accident that you showed.
posted about that. Yeah, I
think-
still get people asking, "Oh, how's your wrist?
Yeah.
How's your wrist?"
Well, I think it's a combination of the injury itself, the way in which you navigated and getting it fixed, but also what you do professionally. And I think that the combination of all of that is what makes it so profound, right?
Yes.
Because as much as maybe you,
Did you need me to save it
Yeah.
from Procreate
Yeah.
to a JPEG or something?
yeah,
Here.
yeah,
No, I could just watch. I could send it to the group right now.
Yeah.
In a flash.
yeah. That's actually pretty epic. I want to go. I want to
The
go through that.
only way I could remember.
I want to go through
all
that.
that stuff.
So everyone knows Tim, the tattoo artist. I know obviously Tim the dad, and Tim the professional, Tim the spiritual guru, but also Tim the athlete, and that's that is what I want to go through. So
Yep, there it is.
let me pull this up. I'm gonna.
I mean, I didn't even write down the injury where I stepped on a bottle and it took a massive, like, spoon-sized gouge out of the bottom of my foot. And they couldn't even sew it up because how do you sew up a valley? You just bring it closer together and hope it heals better. You know?
Exactly.
And then
it has to heal from the bottom up.
Yeah, then you take antibiotics so you don't get some necrotizing fasciitis from the bacteria in the ocean. You know,
you have too many doctor friends, bro.
No, dude, I do.
You know too much to be dangerous.
It's you can climb down scary. What do you call it? Like wormholes or not wormholes?
Rabbit holes.
Rabbit holes. You can climb down way scary rabbit holes when you know too much.
Yeah. Oh my God. You missed a lot in your shoulders, by the way. I'll talk about those.
I know. This is just general. This is just general. I mean, I had to start from this top. I mean. That one's kind of gnarly. Head injuries. I just 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, tell me about that. Let's talk about the possible chronic traumatic encephalopathy, the CTE.
I don't know. I wrote that down because who knows? So
it's close to home right now because I'm recovering from a concussion. So I want to hear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I'll tell you a little bit of my story, but I want to hear what.
So I've had a lot of concussions being so active.
Yeah,
no one wore a helmet back then.
You were a professional skateboarder. Is that what
No. I was an amateur skateboarder, amateur snowboarder, never professional in anything except for tattooing.
Yeah.
Amateur skateboarder. I would get flowed, by like Vans. Black Label. He's one of the nicest humans on earth.
Yeah.
The owner of Black Label. He would always, flow me boards back in the day.
Did you ever skate up here? Just curious.
I did skate up here. Yeah, that was that trip that I went, and I went through here and surfed.
Oh, okay.
I was actually.
That's right.
We did some skateboarding too.
Yeah,
I stayed at Jason Jesse's like warehouse.
Yeah,
Slept in his warehouse.
Yeah.
And then we did some skate parks and skated up here. But so I had a lot of head injuries, and then I did a little bit. I was into fighting when I was young, and then I
like organized fighting or just you scrapper?
I like both.
Yeah.
And my sister always says, she's like, you were so scrappy when you were young. But I was also like, my dad is Mexican, my mom is white.
Yeah.
I look much more like my mom. And I grew up in a predominantly Hispanic neighborhood, and there was gangs and there was other stuff. You could avoid it, but you could also get really sucked into it.
Yeah.
I went the wrong route, and so, just in the bad places and getting in a lot of fights, especially, being a gringo.
Right.
Trying
to prove yourself.
Yeah, just trying to I felt like I had to.
Right.
I had to be tougher.
Right.
Definitely not the toughest.
Yeah.
But so I got back into it as an adult. And I don't know, over 10 years, I've been in boxing, and I love it. I fell in love with it as an adult because as a kid, you look at fighting as fighting, but then you as an adult, you separate fighting from boxing. And I love
you appreciate the art of it.
I appreciate the art of it. It's like chess with your body.
Yeah, absolutely.
My original boxing coach, Stefan, would tell me that boxing is like 80% here and 20% here.
Yeah.
And what
I've heard,
I'm sure my boxing coach now believes the same thing. They're very smart individuals about it.
My boxing patients, sorry to interrupt, but exactly kind of on that thread is they tell me they know when they're on mentally based on how they're sparring, how they're boxing. If there's any brain fog, any head injury, or just how they are, like whether it's their gut brain balance or anything like that. It's like the first thing that they know is when they go to spar is that I'm not.
Your reflexes.
Your reflexes, yeah. Like it's their measuring stick.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. But I only did 2 amateur fights, trained a lot for them, trained pretty hard for them, won both of them, which I was super stoked about. But either way, just stepping in the ring, I felt like I had won. Especially as in my late 30s, early 40s. 49 now.
Yeah.
And I recently, I've been noticing that when I spar for the last 6 months to a year, I get a little floaty after.
Yeah.
And it's been getting worse. And the last time I sparred with a newbie. He's not
Seasoned,
intermediate or advanced. Yeah, not seasoned at all. But he's learning, and they just swing for the fences, man. They just, it's 0 to 100. There's no 30%, 40%, 50%.
Right.
And I get that. But I got caught with a few, and man, I mean, the time even before this one, I was just light sparring, and I felt like brain foggy and weird, and then words were repeating in my head involuntarily.
Yeah.
Like it was like I don't know, that's hard to describe, but it was like phrases and things that I would think about would just kind of record skip in my head involuntarily, and that was really worrisome. So the last time I sparred, I got hit harder, and it took about 5 days to start feeling totally back to normal.
Right.
And I just made the decision now that I'm not going to step in the ring anymore. I'll still train and I'll still hit pads and I'll still go over different things. This is 2 weeks ago. I made the decision.
Shit, Tim.
I know. So I haven't gotten anything checked, but you know what? I did have a brain. I mean, they can't really see CTE until you're dead. They can't, unless it's really far advanced, can they see certain things.
Right.
But I had my doctor friend, he had a neurosurgeon, his friend, painstakingly go over every slide of that MRI. And he's like, his brain looks amazing. It looks totally fine. So it's not like there's any advanced things, but I just...
the objective stuff doesn't show up till late.
It could show up decades later, which I hope.
Yeah. But there's also things that you can do now.
Which I'm going to do.
Okay, good.
Yes. I'm already looking at all kinds of stuff.
I'm already taking notes already.
Yeah, I was on the fence.
Accountable.
Yeah. I was on the fence about buying a red light machine from Dr. G.
Yeah.
And now I'm kind of...
Yeah,
I'm just going to get that. And my wife will be stoked. It's great for skin, I guess. So.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Red light, there's so much. I mean, obviously, we could call Billy right now, with all the head stuff. And,
I even went to that place. And they said everything looked good.
Yeah, neuro... I'm blanking on the name of that
spot. The brain. It's they specialize in that. So I went there and had a test done for free there. Oh no, maybe it was like $100, but it was totally worth it to find out. And they said it looks pretty good.
Yeah. We're way more neuroplastic than we ever thought too, right? Like there's so much you can do preventatively than we ever thought. Yes,
and the brain will find new pathways to have thought processes and ways of getting that signal across. I mean, I just saw a study, just see this in the news. This guy has like 80% of his brain missing. The whole center of his brain is like liquefied.
Yeah.
And this guy, he's not the brightest person on earth. He's below average IQ, but he went in because I think he was getting some foot numbness or some weird things happening, and they did an MRI of his brain. You have to look at this article.
God. Oh shit!
And his brain's like gone.
Yeah.
And they cannot understand how he's still functioning.
Yeah.
But it tells us that
we only use
sections of the brain that they normally think will use for, say, logic or motor skills or this. The brain will adapt and find other ways of making it happen.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
And so it adds a whole new, avenue to travel down to find out more information.
Right.
And I'm sure this guy's going to be poked and prodded in every direction, but
as an athlete, it's scary, to not be able to do things that you want and love to do physically. But to me, and I know for you too, it's even more scary when you don't have your agency and capacity here, right? As soon as that starts to go, or for any reason. Yeah.
By far is probably my scariest injury as far as
that's why I started
what
there.
could happen.
I was like, what?
Yeah, that's by far that I wouldn't be surprised if you told me if there was a test to say, oh yeah, it's already started, but it could be very slow. It could be decades from now. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
You notice any mood things, any irritability, any loss in patience in and around conversations with your family, your boys, or anything like that?
Yeah, but I also have an 11-year-old and a 9-year-old, and I just got home from work after, so I don't know.
Tell me about it.
But nothing out of the ordinary, no. And I have nothing out of the ordinary. And I've obviously read as much information on this as I can at the moment. And
I know you do.
And so I definitely keep my eyes open for signs, but
yeah,
right now I'm not worried about it. There's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
I can only just stop getting hit in the head so much.
Yeah. There you go.
So
you're good at that balance of like getting enough information to know what's going on without getting caught up in that information and letting it spin.
Yes, I'm better now at
it. Just through conversation. No, you're good at it.
Once it's reached a point where I'm doing as much as I can. There's nothing more I can do. I let it go and I live my life.
Yeah. Okay. Can I ask you about your heart?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Sure.
Just a little background. You and I've had conversations in the past, and I don't remember. You maybe can remind me why you ended up even getting it looked at, right? I think you had was it a
Okay,
stress
so
test, right? You had a stress test, and they looked at your ejection
so I had
fraction.
a an echocardiograph
Yeah.
and a
Yeah.
calcium score.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just time.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
Yeah.
almost 50. When I was younger, I partied a lot.
Yeah.
My party was most people's funeral. It wasn't like a normal party.
Mm-hmm.
I've been sober for 16 years. Haven't had a drink or a
Congrats.
drug in 16 years. Thank
Yeah.
you. And but before that happened, I did have a cardiac event, and I was in Miami, and I woke my wife up and was like, "Hey," she said she never partied that much in her whole life than those like few months when we first started hanging out.
Yeah. Like, oh, what I
I
get
go,
myself
"Hey,"
into.
yeah, I go, "Hey, I don't feel good."
Yeah.
And she goes, well, "What do you mean?" It's like 8 a.m. I'm still up.
This is right when you and Liz got together?
Yeah,
Right,
we hadn't gotten married yet.
Yeah,
We were
yeah.
just, going to be. I said, "I don't feel good." See, she had already fallen asleep. I'd still been up partying by
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, but I'm looking up everything online and it says cardiac arrest.
Yeah.
I think I might maybe having a heart attack, and it's not like a heart attack like people who have calcium because they've just been eating like shit and haven't been healthy their whole life.
Yeah,
And then a big
yeah.
chunk of it breaks off and causes blockage,
Right.
Nothing
You're
like
probably
that.
dealing with spasming of the coronaries, probably. Or something
Yes,
like that.
yeah. Where it mimics, but it's essentially a similar thing.
You lose
So
blood supply to the heart, and that's
yes,
Yeah.
So my friend picked me up, rushed me to the hospital. Thought I was going to die in the backseat of his car. It took a while to bring me back to a normal level, come down, and I was like, I just met the woman of my dreams.
Right.
Like, this is the love of my life. I have actually something I want to live for now,
Right.
and so I did everything it took to get right.
Yeah.
And then about a year after, I started feeling kind of weird little flutters and some things, and so I went in and got checked out. And they said, "Oh, okay, you have mitral valve prolapse," which so many people have, don't even know they have it. It's a very common thing.
Right.
It's not a big deal. Like, it was probably...
And there's varying degrees of prolapse, too, as well.
Yes. It was exacerbated by, the mitral valve prolapse was there, by the drug use and all that, and partying and drinking, and made it, probably did some things to it, and made it more noticeable. And so I got all checked out, and they were like, "Yeah, you're fine. Let's check you in, 5 years." First, they did a year check to see how progressive it was. They said if it was really progressive, it could be really bad.
Right.
But it wasn't.
Right.
And I had to sit on the information, not tell my wife.
Yeah.
I didn't want to worry her.
Yeah. So you get all the information, and
So then 5 years later, I got checked out, and they were like, "Your ejection fraction is even improved.
Yeah.
Everything looks great. Your mitral valve prolapse is actually less.
That's
It's
right.
better. Everything's good.
That's right.
Come back and get a 10-year checkup."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was about that time.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, I remember that now.
Yeah, so I went in and got checked up, and then I saw, man, this sucks. I saw this cardiologist just near me because he got good reviews.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, but your ejection fraction looks like it was low, so I'm putting you at 45%. So technically that's heart failure.
Yeah.
So we're going to put you on some medication. I'll see you in a couple months, and then we'll take it from there."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "The fuck are you talking about?"
It's going back to our
What do you mean,
conversation about communicating
how
with
are
your
you? Yeah, I'm like,
patient.
"How are you telling me I'm in heart failure right now?" I was no joke.
Yeah.
I was training, just kind of like I hadn't announced it yet, but in my head, I was like, I'm training for a triathlon right now. I'd swim in my pool.
I remember that.
And I have a 40-foot pool.
That was
long.
after we talked about did your shoulders and
Yes.
everything. Yeah.
So now my shoulders are feeling amazing.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to do a triathlon. So I'm like swimming half miles in my pool just to warm up for it, and doing different strokes. So that way, because you do one stroke for so long in a triathlon, I want to switch it up and do a different one. And then that way I can not tire myself out and work different muscles.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm like, what are you fucking talking about?
Yeah.
You're out of your mind?
I mean,
And then
peak
I'm
health right
stressing
now.
out. I'm like, all I can hear is my heartbeat in my head in my car after he tells me this. I'm trying to get a hold of my doctor friend because he works nights. So he's not waking up, and I'm losing my mind. Anyways, long story short, I finally, my doctor friend says, "You got to get a hold of this guy." I've looked around, and this guy, his name is Brandon Wiley. He's incredible when it comes to this. He wrote the book on echocardiographs and all this stuff. So I find a number online, and it was kind of a doxed number. I didn't know. I called his cell phone.
Yeah.
He picks up at 7 a.m. and he goes, "Hello, this is Dr. Wiley." And I'm like, "Oh, shit, I'm sorry. I was trying to call like maybe your office or something, set up an appointment." He's all, oh, okay, who is this? Well, my name's Tim. You don't know me. My doctor friend told me to get a hold of you.
Yeah.
So who's your friend?
Yeah.
I said, I don't think you know him either. He's
Yeah.
just told me to get a hold of you.
Right.
And I go, look, that's besides the point, man. I'll call your office. I'll set up an appointment. He goes, hey, chill out.
Yeah.
So this is the
That's what he
opposite
said.
end of that bedside manner.
Right.
And he goes, chill out. What's going on?
Yeah.
And I told him, I say, look, my BNP is like 5 or 6. It's like marathon runner BNP.
Right.
My this is this. I'm telling him all my. By this time, I've already got full blood work done from my doctor friend. And he's like, well, this guy's saying I'm in heart failure. And he goes, hey, if everything you tell me is true, if all your levels and everything, I don't think you have much to worry about. But here's the deal: I don't actually see patients anymore. I'm the medical director of USC Keck cardiology. And I'm like, oh, that of course.
Yeah.
This is my good luck. And he goes, but let me turn you on. Email me. And so he found me his best person that specializes in this. And she's amazing. And she did her own echo.
Right.
She also wanted to see his. And it took me a while to get that from him.
Right.
They just wouldn't give it up. And I finally had to get to the point where I walked in and say, hey, this is my medical records.
Yeah.
It's mine.
Right.
This is like illegal to not give it to me.
Right.
I want my records. And they were like, okay, bring in they made it, they tried to get it on a flash drive. It didn't work. They finally gave me a CD.
Yeah.
And
isn't it wild how hard that is?
so wild. So wild. But this is the kicker. He brings me into his office. He goes, let me talk to you first.
Yeah.
And he hands it to me. He goes,
knowing you're going outside.
So he's I want to show you your echo. So the computer, the echocardiograph, like the test said 50 to 55, but I put you at 45 to 50 because I saw something right here. You see this? And I'm like, bro, I don't know how to fucking read an echo. I'm a tattoo
I didn't
artist.
hear this part. I didn't hear this part.
No, I never told you this.
Yeah.
So he said that's why he put me at 45 to 50 in heart failure. So I got one from her.
Come on, man.
Dude, I was so high. I just can't even begin to tell you.
Yeah.
I went to her. She's putting me at 50 to 55. She doesn't know why it's lowered.
Yeah.
We do not know why.
Right.
We tried to figure out different things. We did a MRI of my heart, which is wild. You have to like hold your breath, do these things.
Yeah.
It could take 2 hours to do an MRI of a heart. And she said it looked beautiful. It's functioning perfect.
Yeah.
She does not know why the ejection fraction is going down. For all you don't know, ejection fraction is the amount of blood coming into the heart versus the amount that is being,
the percentage
being pushed
that is
out.
pushed
Percentage.
out. Yeah.
And if you have too low of an ejection fraction, which would be someone with heart failure, it can't push out as much, and so you start having problems.
Yeah, and it could be a product of the contractile ability of the heart, but also, like you said, the prolapse and other things. There's some things that kind of can go into decreasing.
Totally, and then you start getting, edema in your lower legs because you can't process the fluids.
Backs up. Yeah.
Everything's backing up, and so there's medications that can help that. So I was still taking the medication, carvedilol, the smallest amount. Yeah, it's a beta blocker.
Yeah.
So she's like, we can do more tests if you want to do more tests.
Right.
If you're feeling like you want to do more tests to get to the bottom of things, I don't know, but you look fine to me. I'm feeling really good about it.
Yeah.
Or you could come back in a year and we'll just do another echo.
Right.
And I go, I think I want to live my life.
Do that.
I think I'm okay.
I like option B.
Yeah. And she said, Tim, you're one of my healthiest patients.
Yeah.
You need to worry more about looking both ways before you cross the street.
That's right.
And I go, okay, so right now we don't know what caused it.
Yeah.
We don't know whether it was viral. Sometimes a viral thing can cause your ejection fraction to go down.
Yeah.
I personally think it was this whopping case of COVID that I have when it first came out, before vaccines, before any of that stuff.
Yep.
I had a case of COVID that was so gnarly. It was like 50-50 live or die.
Yeah.
But because I have such good cardio, it didn't affect me like that. I had blood clots. I had to give myself a shot in my stomach.
Post-COVID? Or earlier?
After COVID, he tested. Well, it was kind of like still during. I still had it. I was still going through it, but he did a D-dimer on me, and it was like 560, almost 600 or something. So it was extremely high.
Yeah.
So he was like, "You have blood clots either forming or have already formed. I need you on a blood thinner."
Right.
So I took Lovenox.
Gotcha.
For a little while, and but I honestly I felt so much going on cardiovascular wise, and I probably should have got a test immediately following that. But I think that's what did something.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, all it did was make me train harder.
Yeah.
And for the last year, I have been training so hard and doing so much cardio, and after COVID too, but man, lately I've been feeling kind of a breakthrough. My heart rate has gone down back to where it used to be, like pre any of this, when I was training for my amateur bouts, like in the 50s, 50s, 60s. My heart rate's gone way down. Remember it was kind of high last time you checked it. It was,
that's right.
it's like 70s.
Yeah.
For me, that's on the higher side.
Absolutely.
And now it's gone down. I think maybe I've had a breakthrough.
Yeah.
I don't know though.
I think I agree with that theory too, meaning like I've seen so much, I don't know, call it long COVID or whatever. I'm not any Peter McCullough. Obviously, he's the cardiologist when it comes to that long COVID.
Yeah.
But I know for myself, I got it too pre everything, like right kind of a couple months into, I think it was the end of 2019, early 2020, 2020, I think when it was. And not only myself, but everyone else who got it kind of early, I used, whether it's the Peloton or other different kind of measuring sticks to see where I was. Like I could not get to the same level of fitness for probably 9 months after I got COVID. And probably if I had gotten an ejection fraction or an echocardiogram at that time, it probably would have showed something like that too.
It might have, yeah.
I believe it.
It screwed me up.
I mean, there's so much to talk about there. I mean, obviously in my world, it's crazy as much as we try to objectify medicine, whether it be through the awesome kind of like modern technology that we have, right?
Yeah.
Whether it be calcium scores or whether it be echoes or EKGs or MRIs.
My calcium score is 0, by the way.
Yeah.
Not an
I know, and everything
midget of calcium.
I remember you talking. This is before you saw that other cardiologist, and I think you saw her. You got the cliff notes that you gave me were that everything looks good. I'm just going to hold off right now and get an echo kind of later.
Yeah.
I was like, that doesn't make sense. None of that makes sense, right? With regards to the 40-45% or whatever you were telling me at that time.
And for those of you of why I saw you during this is because I mean, can we talk about that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you tell them what I got because you'll say it in a more medical sense.
No worries.
I got intravenous.
Intravenous placental or umbilical derived stem cells, so cord blood stem cells, right?
Yeah. And I did the research, and I know only a certain amount of it's actually getting to my heart,
right?
But I was also more worried about overall wellness,
absolutely,
and whatever damage I did to my lungs from having pneumonia from COVID and other things I've done in the years, that I knew it would help as well.
Oh, absolutely. And through the paracrine system and the signaling stuff that's going on in our bodies all the time, we're always sending out the SOS, right? Meaning our body's always communicating where it needs to repair, right? Where it needs to go. And the problem is life, whether it be through athletics, COVID or anything else like that, it kind of derails that system and we start to lose the ability to respond to injury. And that's where, in my world, right, that's where chronic things end up presenting themselves, right? Like tendinopathies, chronic tendinosis, lateral epicondylitis, like tennis elbow, golfer's elbow, that sort of thing. The same thing happens to our lungs. The same thing happens to our heart. The same thing happens to our kidneys and all the other organs in our body and systems, is that things sometimes become chronic and then our body kind of sequesters it off and kind of gives up on it when it realizes it only kind of heals to a certain degree.
Because you've learned to live with it.
You learn to live with it. And we have a capacity to deal, and we have a capacity to continue to move forward short of 100%, right? And so the whole idea behind the stem cells in general, not just autogenic, your own, but also umbilical placental derived, is that you're reintroducing cells to an area, you're reigniting that healing response, and you're providing the body with the cells that are responsible for coming in and making change, whether or not 100% to get them or not. And there's this awesome kind of phenomenon in our bodies that's called heterochromic parabiosis, where the introduction of new, young, healthy stem cells tends to increase our own body's stem cells, meaning it makes our cells behave young again, right? And it turns them on and ramps them up again in that same way. So it's not only the cells that are in there, but it also jumpstarts your own body's cells and kind of brings a new awareness to your body to start healing again too, as well.
Teaching old dogs new tricks.
Teaching old dogs new tricks, yeah. But it just, it frustrates me too, because with the level of objective data that we can get, there's always going to be an art to medicine. There's always going to be this subjectivity, and there's always going to be an importance in how we communicate that information to the patient.
Yes.
And to stand behind a comment like that with that, and not to throw shade on that, the cardiologist, with so much
Oh,
authority.
you can throw shade on him. You can throw shade on him.
With so much authority as this is, you know, what is going on, and this is, you know,
Yeah,
what
you
you're
can
doing,
totally
but
throw shade on him
yeah.
because I went back after finding all this information
Yeah.
out because I'm gonna be up for life insurance renewal in a little
Oh,
bit,
shit.
and
they
I
see
can't
all
get
of
it
that.
with
Yeah.
his report on there, and so I
Yeah.
went back and asked him very nicely and talked to him and said,
Yeah.
"Look, I'm not asking you to just believe my word for it. Just call her. This is
Yeah.
her number. She's
Yeah.
expecting your call. She will go over everything."
Yeah.
And he got kind of frustrated. And then
Sure.
he actually went, all right, fine. You want to call her? Let's call her.
Yeah.
Call this number.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, it's like 5 PM. She's
Right.
probably not there. You saw me after your last appointment. And so they left a message. And we talked, and he just kind of was like, no, maybe if you would have stayed with me,
Yeah.
we would have found this out on our own, and I
Yeah.
would change my own notes. But he won't change his notes.
Yeah.
And he won't. And she called him back twice,
Yeah.
and he's never returned her call.
Yeah.
Never even just called her to listen to what she said and her findings.
Right.
Listen to her findings. I would have even said, yeah, you signed off on having her go into, you know, having him being able to have access to all the findings and everything and review them and look at them, which is what he should do as a
Right.
doctor.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But now he just brushed me off.
Ego's a wild thing, man.
Isn't that wild?
Ego's a wild thing. Like medicine's gone away from collaboration.
Yeah.
Like it's, you know, protection and obviously the litigation component of it. But ultimately it's like, if we can just pause for a second and recognize that it isn't about us and it's more so about the patient, and maybe the information that we have is how we see it,
Yeah.
but being open to the idea, right, of maybe someone else seeing it a little bit differently is all that I ask, really, ultimately. And when I see something on an MRI, I see something in a patient, and yeah, I have a good idea of what's going on through experience and obviously our training. My first thing is, hey, this is what I see, but go here.
Yeah.
There's 5 guys that I would trust to, you know what I mean, take a look at it and potentially see things another way. And it takes understanding that it's about the patient and not about you for people to do that. And it seems like such a simple thing, and it really is silly that it even has to be mentioned, but I see it way too much, man.
Yeah. I'm living it.
Yeah. So the heart's good.
So
The
heart's good. Where do you want to go next? You don't have to go to fractured collarbone. That was from skateboarding.
I want to hear the
No, that was just I went up for a hand plant, a front side hand plant on an 8-foot quarter pipe.
Yeah.
And missed my thumb, slipped off of the waxed coping.
Yeah.
Because it was just like slippery, and I went straight down to my collarbone, knocked the wind straight out of me, and I just had a crack in it. Nothing too gnarly. Central serous retinopathy. When I was originally going through my spine issues, I had to take a steroid pack.
Yeah.
And I woke up one morning and I was looking through an amber colored lens through my eye and freaking out, and had to go in, and they said, yeah, you have fluid filling in the back of your eye, detaching your retinas.
Yeah.
There's really nothing you can do about it. It'll just go away on its own.
Yeah.
And your brain reverses everything it sees. So rather than me seeing fisheye, it was pinched like hourglass.
Right.
So people's faces were all warped and pinched, and try to tattoo like that.
Oh my God.
That was super fun. Trying to figure out how to go dominant with my other eye and try to like not focus on that one. Yeah. Man, that was a whole nother feat in itself.
Those ones got the discount.
So now I don't take steroids.
Yeah.
With like the steroid packs.
Mm-hmm.
And
like the Medril dose packs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the shoulders, you know about my shoulders.
We'll go through those shoulders. The hand is an epic one for sure. Meaning, like,
you wanted me to tell you about the hand?
Yeah, I mean, I know a little bit about it, but I think that our listeners would love to hear the story behind it. And I know this is a story that you've told before, but I also, like I said, I think in addition to the actual injury itself and the magnitude of that, just how it obviously happened, and then the way in which and how fast you got it fixed, but also your career and what you do, in the magnitude of that too is, I think, at least from my perspective, is important. And not only the medical side of it, I want to talk about the mindset side of that, and where your head
was
went,
a heavy one.
where your head went through all of that.
You know what? Hold on.
Yeah. The X-ray.
Dude, it's gnarly. And you'll have to explain it, because people won't understand what it is.
It's not my world, but I definitely can kind of.
So I was riding out in the desert. I I've also rode motorcycles my whole life,
Yeah.
whether it be on street or on dirt. I don't ride on street anymore because I got kids and everyone's on their cell phones, and I'm gonna die
Dude, it's so gnarly
from
out
that.
there.
And I've had friends that have died or they're permanently injured.
Yeah.
And so I sold my Harley a while back, and I'm just not gonna get another motorcycle.
Yeah. I don't have a lot of hard nose for my kids. Based on my profession, but street bikes are one of them for
it's
sure.
so gnarly.
Yeah.
And it didn't used to be as bad before touchscreens. It was always bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now everyone's just on their phone. They're looking down. They're looking away. So I ride in the desert. I got a dirt bike, and I taught my kids how to ride, and we go out to the desert and we ride. And then after I'm done riding with them, I ride with my cousins. We're, my 2 cousins and I, Chris and Jeremy, were really close. We grew up together. We're like best friends. Yeah. And they are insane on dirt bikes.
Yeah.
I mean, they're so good.
Yeah.
They ride so fast. So keeping up with them it forces you to be a really good rider out in the desert.
Yeah.
So we did this whole ride, and we were actually maybe middle of the way through. And there's out of Ocotillo Wells, it's a playground for motorcycles. There's these big, hills you kind of go over, and we went over a few. And there was this new spot, and I thought it just went right over. So I was going a bit too fast. When I came over the top of it, it goes right over. And because there's these really scary boulders going down, it cuts right really fast. So I went right over. And I didn't have enough time to cut right.
Yeah.
I was going too fast. So I went right into these boulders, and I said, you know what? I'm going to let my bike go.
Right.
Normally, I never do that. I will gas it out of everything. I'll try to survive everything. But I go, I'm going to let my bike go on this one, and the damage that happens to the bike, I'll fix. So I just jumped off it, ran it out, let it go. It bermed on these boulders and rocketed over and sweeped my legs, and my hand went straight back down into the back wheel of the bike.
Yeah.
And I fractured almost every single bone in my hand.
Yeah.
All the joints were torn out of socket.
Yeah.
It was awful. It's like a career-ending injury.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I
call that a dead bone sandwich. I think just gets broken and
it looked
died.
like, my wife said it looked like that movie with that comedian where his hands all mangled,
Yeah, yeah.
And
you knew right away.
I knew right away. I stood up and I just looked at my cousin. I go, my hand's done.
Yeah.
And he went, what do you mean? Yeah. And I go, it's done. And then
You
my
had
other
gloves
cousin,
on and you-
gloves on. And my other cousin comes over and goes, you don't think you could ride back?
Yeah.
Like, they knew I was injured, but they were like, you can't ride back?
Yeah.
And I pulled off my glove and I just held my hand up, and they both went, oh no. And we thought maybe a medevac at first, but we flagged down this.
Was it open too? Like you had bone exposed, or was it?
So I had one. They treated it as an open fracture.
Yeah.
Because there was a laceration right here. You can see that scar right there.
Yeah.
So they treated it as an open fracture because it's so close to the bones.
Yeah.
And so, I was on antibiotics immediately and all
Yeah.
that. But it was mainly the bones that were so bad. And we saw these dune buggies, little like Can-Ams, and this lady gave me a ride back. I actually wrapped it because it looked so disgusting. It was freaking people out. So I just covered it. And when we got back to camp, I told my wife, hey, I do not lose my cool under pressure.
Right.
Horrible car accidents. I've seen the craziest things. I just keep my cool. That's why I think I would have been great in the medical field. But
I agree with that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I keep my cool. So we pulled up to camp, and I go, honey, put the kids in the trailer. I don't want them seeing my hand. I don't want to freak them out. She's like, okay. My wife was kind of freaked. I need you to make me a bag. You need to make me a bag of comfortable clothes, a phone charger for my phone, throw some snacks in there, and a water.
Yep.
Because this might be a while.
Right.
He goes, okay. So she made the bag. My uncle gave me a ride to the hospital, Desert Regional, and they put me in, gave me a bed, started doing scans, and I immediately was calling Dr. G, and I was calling my employee, Javier De Luna, because he is also friends with Dr. Viola. Yeah. So Dr. Viola, there's Randy Viola. Yeah. So there's this guy
out in Vail. Yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah. There's this motocross guy. Gosh, what's his name? I got his whole arm caught in the back wheel of his bike. I always forget his name. Do you have it?
Yeah, we'll find it.
I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Randy Viola fixed it. They said he would never ride again. He
Yeah.
was like winning races
Yeah.
after this.
Similar injury to yours, or his whole arm?
Similar,
Yeah.
similar, but it went all the way up to his elbow. But got it caught back in the back wheel of his bike.
Yeah.
Bruce Cook,
No.
Cole Davey, and Jordan Smith. No.
No. But so he went to Viola. So I knew, this I had to go to this guy.
Yeah.
And he
But I
fixed
know
my employee's
I think
hand.
Dr. G sends a lot of his moto guys if they have hands and wrist stuff out there to see him.
Yeah, to the Stedman
Yeah,
Clinic.
Yeah.
Ken
Roxon.
Yeah.
So Ken, he fixed up Ken Roxon.
Okay. Yeah.
So, man, I got to show you this X-ray is so gnarly. Let's see which one I should show you.
The injury one.
Yeah.
Text it to me. This is fun for me.
Here I
at the films.
just sent it to. Maybe I'll send it to your.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll send it to that.
Oh, the
I
airdrop it.
sent
Okay.
it to the
No, I
Mac.
got it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so do you see where the hand bones, the
Yeah.
metacarpals, are supposed to be?
Yeah.
Tell them
Yeah.
where they should be.
So the metacarpals should align with what we call the distal carpal row right here. And you can see that the carpal, let's see if I can actually annotate that. That'd be pretty cool.
I have a side view.
Yeah. So these carpal bones here, down here, should be up and around this area right here. So you have multiple fracture dislocations based on that one X-ray. I don't even think I could describe it in detail because there's so much going on right there. Let me see.
Oh yeah, Viola San was like, "You need surgery for sure."
Yeah. Let's see.
So I actually
Oh yeah. So you have dorsal dislocation of the entire,
all of them,
all of your
just
carpal metacarpal joints are
all
dislocated.
ripped out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not like a dislocation, ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
like a shoulder where somebody pops it back in.
Yeah. No.
It
these-
needs to be
Whew.
pinned back in and put back in.
Yeah. So all of
specifically.
these right here, you can see this articulation. So this is the proximal metacarpal belongs up here, right? So you can see it fractured and dislocated all out the back, right there.
Yeah. And then did you see that one? That one just exploded. Go
Yeah.
back to the other photo.
Yeah. Let me stop.
Your ring finger. It's like the ring finger metacarpal. See that
all
one? Look at all those
that's-
just
dude.
just
It's
just
dust.
exploded.
It's
It's
dust.
dust.
Yeah.
Totally dust. So
Oh my
at the
God.
hospital, that's Desert Regional, where my friend Patrick, Dr. Patrick, my buddy, the ER doctor, he did his
Yeah.
residency there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey man,
Yeah.
I called him up. I'm like, hey, do you know anybody here? He's like, ask him who's the attending physician on
Yeah.
staff, and
Yeah.
and
Who's on call? Who's
I
gonna
asked
take
if I
them?
could talk to him, and he
Yeah.
walked up. He's all, yeah. And I
Yeah.
said, somebody wants to talk to you. And they got in an argument on the phone. He's like yelling at him, blah, blah, blah. And then he
Yeah.
just threw the phone down at me
Yeah.
and goes, Patrick should know better than, and he like grumbles and walks off. And I'm like, what the fuck? I pick up the phone, I'm all, what's going on? He's all, oh, don't worry about that. That's just
Yeah.
doctor shit. And I go, what do you mean? Bro. And he says, well, I guess he told him, he said, hey man, this is not just a normal fracture. And he was like, dude, it's just a hand fracture.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, this is his career. This is like, he uses his hands.
Mm-hmm.
This is like, this guy's like family to me. He's like
Yeah.
my brother.
Yeah.
You like, who's doing the surgery? So apparently there's one of the best hand surgeons also that works at Desert Regional.
Yeah.
He was on vacation with his family in Mexico.
Yeah.
So they wanted this woman that's like a couple years out of her
Fellowship.
Yeah. to do this hand surgery.
Yeah.
And
This is not minor. You know that.
it's
I mean,
not
just
minor.
for our listeners and viewers. This is level 10
totally.
in the hand world for sure.
And so, with still having some chance of using it after. So
in a professional tattoo artist who needs their hand.
totally.
So, yeah.
And everyone says, oh, it wasn't your right hand. I'm all, I do more with my left than I actually do with my right.
When
My
you
right,
tattoo.
you could take away.
You stabilize
I could
it, right?
shove it into a prosthetic
Yeah.
and just move the needle where I want it
And
to
then
go
you
with my elbow.
Adjust.
This pulls and
Yeah.
stretches and
Right.
does all that.
You need that dexterity.
Yeah, you need it. So, I mean, you can do without it. I know one arm tattoo.
Yeah.
But
But
a
ideally.
couple of them. But so by the time I left the hospital, I had already set up the appointment. I called my sister. I'm staying with her in Denver. She's
Yeah.
driving me up to the hospital. She has days off. Everything was filled out, paperwork filled out, everything. But I stayed there for so long because what I needed to do was I needed for them to reduce it
Yeah.
and stabilize it so I could get there.
Right.
So I pretended under my doctor's orders,
Yeah.
my friend, doctor,
Yeah.
pretend that you're going to get the surgery from her, and then get it reduced,
Mhm.
which is like putting the things back in place as best as you can.
Right.
So they did that, and then they stabilized it.
So you did that under anesthesia, right? You went
Under anesthesia, yeah.
And was it an X fix? Like they put an external fixator on, or did they actually pin it and hold it?
No, didn't do any.
Okay.
They didn't cut it open.
No
and do
hardware.
surgery yet.
Okay.
Yeah, no
Okay.
hardware. Just
So
like
they put it back and then put a splint on it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I saw that woman who was. She thought she was going to do the surgery, and I said, "Hey, I'm not getting my surgery." She's all, "Oh, I'm under the impression you are." And I said, "No, I'm sorry.
Thanks for reducing it.
Thanks for reducing it. I'm flying to Denver.
Yeah.
I'm going to drive up to Vail and get it there." I said, "How much time do I have to get there?"
Yeah.
With this reduction and what's been done.
Yeah.
That's what I need to know. That's what I had to wait all night to hear. And she goes, "You have about 5 days." She was really cool about it.
Did Viola know you were coming at this time? Or
He already had. I talked to him on the phone.
Yeah.
Like he
Gotcha.
called me, everything. He's like you. He's very personal.
Yeah.
Like,
I met him. I did some training out there with Philip on
Oh, no
hip
way.
arthroscopy, so
Yeah.
I got a chance to meet
He's
him
cool.
and Millet and Stedman and all those guys.
Yeah, he was like late one time because he's like, "I'm sorry." He was in his ski bibs. He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I skied this morning and I couldn't get my locker unlocked, and so sorry I'm in my bibs." I'm like, "Dude, I love this. It's cool."
Yeah.
But so I flew up. This was the day before Thanksgiving. I came home, got on a flight, flew up to see my sister.
Mhm.
Had a to-go Thanksgiving plate from where they were at.
Mhm.
Ate it, went to bed, woke up, drove up to Vail, and was prepped and in surgery that morning. So like a day or two.
Yeah.
He woke me up and he said, "Tim, I'm sorry, I got bad news and I got good news.
Mhm.
Which one do you want first?" And I said, "I'll take the bad news first."
Yeah.
And he goes, "The bad news is I couldn't get it done in one shot.
Right.
I need to do it. I need 2 surgeries." Because
Right.
I guess they tourniquet your hand, your arm, because you can't, you need
during
such
surgery.
fine things.
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
these
you can't have any
fine little
bleeding.
things. So
Yeah.
he has these time windows of how long he can work on you.
120 minutes. So 2 hours,
Yeah.
especially the distal extremity. I mean, give or take, but yeah, you don't want to go beyond, then you start getting necrosis and things like
Yeah,
that.
it was
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
So he said, "You can fly home. You can come back in a couple of weeks, or you can stay with your sister here and come back and up. I need 5 days at least for some of the swelling to go down."
Yeah.
And I said, "I will be back here in 5 days."
Right.
And I stayed with my sister, and I had to keep my arm above my heart for 5 days. You know
Yeah.
what it's like trying to keep your arm above your heart for 5 days?
Get that swelling down.
I was laying on a
Yeah.
bed. I had pillows packed around it.
propped up.
I was trying to just sleep on my back with my hand up like this, with pillows all around it. The pillows would come crashing down. I'd rebuild it again in the middle of the night. It was gnarly. Then I would walk because I didn't want to get blood clots.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because of the injury with flying, surgery.
Sure.
So I was walking around my sister's neighborhood with my hand up, and I know people thought I was nuts. They're like, "What is up with this guy, dude?" I think he's on the spectrum.
Yeah,
It's cool.
exactly.
They were being really nice to me.
Hey,
They were like, "Hey," and I would do it with my other hand. I'd be like, "Hey," and leave this one up.
That's too good.
And I'm walking around, and he said, kept pumping it as much as you can. But this
Right.
is all after an experience like that. This is the most you can get out of a hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I could do.
Yeah.
So I just kept doing this and just kept pumping it to try to get the inflammation down
inflammation
and the
out of
swelling down. He saw it in 5 days. He said, "Cool." Oh, the bad news or the good news. He said, "The good news is when I first saw your CT, I didn't think I could get you back together like you need to be
Probably
again.
because- probably
And you're
because of
going to lose
this-
a lot." And he goes, "Now that I'm in
Yeah.
there and I've been putting things back together, I really think I can." So I think I can put you back together,
Yeah.
like get you above 90%. I go, "Man, that's amazing. That's
killer.
totally cool."
Yeah.
So he did the second surgery. He said everything went perfect. I had the gnarliest amount of wires in my hand. But
If I
you know
remember
what's
right, you had
cool?
more metal in your hand than bones. I feel like
Oh,
at
it was
some point,
wild.
so.
But you know what was cool is that here's an X-ray that I had to send them to make sure everything's going okay. So I had to wear all this stuff in my hand for 3 months. So I was tattooing with all this in my hand, underneath my skin, in my hand for months. So he put all that in there. A couple of those little small screws stayed.
Yeah.
You can
these
see
guys
that
right
little
here.
screw
Yeah,
and
that's
that
a
little one.
screw.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a screw right there. Yeah.
Yeah, so all
Yeah.
that stayed, and he rebuilt my entire hand.
This is that fourth.
That's that one. Look
metacarpal
at
that was all dusted right there.
Yeah. So look at
Transcarpal pinning. Yeah.
my dexterity.
Yeah.
I mean, my dexterity is like perfect.
Oh my God. That's incredible.
The only
Yeah.
thing I wouldn't say isn't 100%, but I would say my hand, this is my good hand now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like my left
Boxing?
hook.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like it is my good hand
Yeah.
combined with what you did to my shoulder.
Yeah, yeah.
Like my left hook isn't labored anymore. It is
Yeah.
such a strong, quick left hook
That's
now.
amazing.
So this is my good hand.
Yeah.
This is my bad hand
Yeah.
because he also gave me a little carpal tunnel release while
Yeah.
he was in there.
Yeah,
While I'm
yeah,
under, you
yeah.
know, might as well.
Well, and also the amount of swelling that you get in your hand can cause like a traumatic carpal tunnel syndrome too. At that
Yes.
same time.
Yeah. So he made sure and did that. And the only thing that's not 100 is just because he had to cut this open so many times.
Scar tissue probably.
There's scar tissue
Yeah.
and it's a little tight.
Yeah.
Like I can feel it. It just feels like someone's got their thumb kind of up here.
Yeah.
And it's a
Gotcha.
little tight, but it
Yeah.
doesn't hinder
That's
my
amazing.
my dexterity.
The human body, man. Pretty
Yeah, it's
amazing.
insane. So here, I'll show you
That's incredible.
what he had to do.
So what's the long term? What did he tell you as far as long term prognosis? Because this is what a handful of years ago. Did he say as far as any maintenance, anything you need in the future? Like what are the chances of arthritis, all that stuff? Like,
No, he
yeah.
didn't say anything. He just
That's
said, live your
amazing.
life.
Go box.
Yeah, so this is,
There it is.
that was from original. You can see on the side, he's got
Yep.
something that he
Yeah,
went through
yeah.
there too, but that was
Absolutely.
my hand. And look at, he said, Tim, I really tried to piece those tattoos back together. I said, Randy, I don't care about the tattoos. They're more sentimental to me than anything else. You know, I mean, it is a Mike Brown tattoo and a
Yeah.
Chris Garver tattoo. Not that you
Yeah.
guys know who those are, but these are
Yeah.
like some of the best tattooers. And Mike
Yeah,
Brown
they
isn't
mean
with us
something.
anymore.
They mean something. for
Yeah, so
sure.
it's really important to me.
Yeah.
But he put it back together
Yeah.
incredibly well.
Let me see it now. So good.
Yeah,
And it's a story, man. It's part of you.
it's part of me.
yeah,
It's a
like
story.
a ring in the tree, right?
Yeah,
Like, it's
yeah.
all-
The only
yeah.
thing that didn't go back to this finger was dislocated and pointing up to the sky.
Yeah.
And that's a little weird.
Yeah.
But whatever.
I'm curious where
So-
where your head went through all this. Like, were you? I mean, obviously you got the information that you have. Did that first doctor, that younger one, did she give that same prognosis?
She said she was going to put all kinds of plates and all kinds of stuff in it. Look at no plates.
Yeah,
No
a lot of times
plates,
these
nothing.
a lot of times these get fused too.
I know.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
I'm no hand expert. It's not my world, but I've seen obviously where either that or they'll take out bones, right, in different areas, kind of bone graft, and just kind of get it all to kind of hold.
Yeah.
So it's just this club that you can kind of use. a
Yeah,
little
so
bit
you
as
just
opposed to-
don't look weird.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
like
yeah.
it's just this,
Yeah, exactly. So,
like a mannequin hand.
yeah,
So I did do, this was really cool. This is
That
when
looks so
I
good.
really got to
Yeah.
test out BPC
Mm.
on a surgery scale, on
Mhm.
like a healing bone and all that
This is the
scale.
first time
I've
that
done
you
it for
did
like
peptides.
tears and little things, you
Yeah,
know.
Yeah,
But I did the matrix,
Yeah.
BPC 157,
Absolutely.
TB 500, and then there's
MGF1.
MGF1.
Yeah.
And I did that, and I'm in my 40s.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Well, we'll give you a plan of recovery when you get back."
Yeah.
And when they woke me up from removing all the hardware,
Yeah.
his assistant goes, "Yeah, doctor said no plan."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "He says you can literally go back to doing whatever you want right now."
Kill it.
And I go, like, I can go boxing right now. And he goes, "You got to wait for the sutures to come out." But technically, your hand would be stable enough to handle that.
Yeah.
And so Randy just said, live your life, do
That's
whatever you want.
killer. Yeah.
I said,
mean-
are you sure? I mean, and he goes, yeah, I think boxing outweighs the damage you're going to do to your hands. I
That's
mean, I'm not doing
amazing.
it now anyways,
Yeah.
but he says, because it keeps you in really good health and, and all that. So he's, I'll do whatever you want. I said, okay, man.
I'm convinced that was a big part of your recovery too, and I see it all the time. That yes, getting the bones back together. I'm not saying that that's any easy feat at all. One, putting them back together anatomically, which obviously he did and did a good job of. And if you do that in a healthy patient, reliably, it's going to heal. The delay and the issue that most patients see post trauma, because I see a lot of that, right? Because most trauma surgeons are dealing, and not Viola, he does their Viola, he does a lot of soft tissue stuff as well, but a lot of trauma docs are just working with bones because they don't recognize, or they do, maybe don't care as much, the soft tissue recovery and injury, right? The ligaments that were also damaged during that, right? The ligaments that were ripped during the dislocations and they're small and they're intricate little tiny intrinsic ligaments, but they're robust and they're powerful and they're important to keep those bones once they're healed in the right anatomical kind of location. And that's usually the delay or the complication. Anything that's traumatic is the soft tissue.
Yeah.
And that's where BPC shines. That's where MGF shines. That's where TB 500 shines. And that's in addition to the swelling and everything else that you were able to get down right away. Yes, it helped with the bone healing, but I'm convinced the soft tissue healing is arguably the most important part in my world, at least.
Yeah, well,
and
good to
you
know.
Yeah,
Learn something new every day.
exactly. That's killer. Oh man. I was thinking a little bit about the story, and it's a little bit unrelated, but also related in part of the previous cardiology story that you were telling as well. I don't know if you saw or heard my wife posted a lot about it. I think both of our wives post a lot more about our personal lives than we do.
Yeah. I do
But
a little
yeah,
bit,
yeah.
but yeah.
But we went through a little bit of an infertility, a big infertility journey, I should say. That we had our 2 boys and then had 9 years of infertility, 6 miscarriages, and all of it kind of afterwards. And through that process, she ended up having this procedure for endometriosis with a local, well-known physician down in this area.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, he's a guru, and a lot of similar to Viola, and a lot of docs who get to that level. People are flying in to see him, kind of, et cetera. And just so happened he was in our kind of neighborhood, which was amazing. And she had this procedure that was, kind of pretty much minimal, like just a minor on the scale of things, just, not that big of a procedure. It was endoscopic, little portals. And her sister's baby shower was up in Tahoe. And so she had the procedure like on a Wednesday and made sure that she did well that night and then into the next day. And so her other sister drove her up. I had to stay down with the boys here in Santa Cruz, and she drove up to Truckee, Tahoe, where her sister's baby shower was, and started getting lightheaded, started getting bloated, started like getting really, really dizzy. And at the baby shower in the bathroom, like passed out. And
Oh, wow.
yeah. And sisters took her to the ER and stuff right away, and had massive, massive internal bleeding. I think her hemoglobin, which normally you want it in the teens, was like at 4 or 5 or something like that. She'd lost so
Oh
much
my
blood in
God.
her gut at that time. They got obviously CT scans, all of it, right? And she's in the small town, Truckee Hospital, the ER there, right? And sees the ER doctor, who calls the general surgeon on call. And his approach was, hey, like, we're going to have to do a big exploratory laparotomy, which is stem to stern, cut wide open to go look and see where this bleeding is kind of coming from. Because the CT scan was like, it wasn't really that definitive on what was actually happening. And so he's like, I think this is an arterial bleed. I think she's going to die if she doesn't, have this procedure done. And so this is before I really kind of got involved in the conversation. And I'm talking to her local doc here about the procedure. Hey, like, what are the potential complications for this? This is not my world. I'm coming in as completely, uninformed. Yeah, I have an idea of the anatomy, but like ultimately, I don't know what the major complications of this procedure are. And I'm like, well, what got nicked, and what's going on, and because this guy wants to. And so we get on this 3-way call with me, her original surgeon, and then this general surgeon up in Truckee, with my wife and her sister in there in the ER, and he's like ready to go, right? Like they're sharpening the knives in the back, and he's like, we need to open her up right now. And I was like, whoa, can we stop? Can we pause? Can we have a conversation about this right now? Because no one comes back from that type of procedure, right? Like, yeah, it's a life-saving procedure if you have to have it. But with the scar tissue, with all the other things they have to do, and, cutting yourself open and removing the bowel to go look for, bleeders is like, that's gnarly, right?
Yeah.
And instead of like pausing and having a conversation, he got kind of similar to this previous doctor. He was just like, if you want your wife's life on your hands, then this is on you and not on me.
Oh my God. What a horrible
I
thing
know,
to say to someone.
Exactly. And I'm on a Zoom call with a surgeon that I speak.
If
Like,
she dies, it's your fault.
It's your fault.
Like, that's just basically what he said.
right? And I'm talking to this other doctor, and he's like, Masi, all due respect, like, there's no arteries there. Like, that wasn't like, I think that this is a venous bleed. I don't think this is an arterial bleed. I think with pressure, like, this will eventually go. I think that she just maybe moved a little too much after surgery. She went up to high altitude. I think that there's something else kind of going on. I really don't. And I'm using him to, and in my own intuition to be like, I don't really think that that's the right thing, but this isn't my world, And so I'm kind of reaching out to all the people that I know in my kind of network and all this. And
what a stressful thing to go through.
Dude, like, yeah. And she's, they're trying to get blood products in her and keep her alive, during this entire thing. And I'm trying to make decisions on her behalf, and her sister's there. And this guy's just fucking flaming. He's pissed, like, because he thinks that we're
How dare you question me?
Exactly. Yeah. And he's a general surgeon up there. And long story short, it's like, what if we just load her with blood products? This is obviously a slower bleed, right? If it was an arterial bleed, I feel like she would have died Wednesday.
She would have been dead already.
She would have been dead already, right? Like, can we can we give her products? Can we stabilize her enough, her vital signs and everything like that, to be able to get her on a flight out of there? And he just obviously just didn't even want to have that conversation and left pretty much like, yeah, if she dies, it's on you, bro. And so what we ended up doing is exactly that. Loaded her up with blood products, platelets, plasma, all of it with blood, and then flew her to Stanford. Out there, had multiple other doctors kind of look at it. And long story short, she didn't need a surgery at all. She needed pressure because she had this aberrant, like this anatomical variant of this vein that was right by that portal site. And so, as you know, with surgery with portals, you can put cannulas in there. And so the cannula was tamping and knotting off that vein. So it was holding that vein. It was nicked without even seeing. And then the cannula went in and it held pressure on it during the procedure. So he never saw, it was just a total aberrancy, meaning like just not a normal anatomic thing that just, you don't typically see. It was just a freak sort of thing. And the pressure of the cannula and the pressure of the air inside the stomach was holding that vein. And then when he closed up afterwards, it kind of opened up and was like leaking out kind of slowly.
Yeah.
And so what you do in that venous bleed is you just put pressure on it until
she had a slow leak.
So she had a slow leak instead of this. And so we ended up, obviously she lost a lot of blood and had to deal with the scar tissue and the hematoma and everything that went with that, but she didn't need any sort of procedures. And it just goes to show.
Did you ever talk to this doctor after and let him know what it was and what happened?
So I called for a conversation with him, and same thing with your story. He never kind of got back, and I wrote a letter actually too. And I actually never sent it. I let myself calm down, and the more it actually is relatively, it was only a couple of years ago. And I still know his name and I still know, where he's at. And, I don't know. I'm open to suggestions, but I think emotionally I had to move kind of past it. And it is not that I want to, my biggest thing is to learn from it. And it's kind of similar to the cardiology thing. And the reason why we, brought up the conversation earlier about how careful we have to be the objective, things and be able to pause, right? Given that moment. If it was truly life or death, then yeah, that's one thing.
And keep our ego down here.
Yeah. Out of it.
Yeah. Nobody's cooler than anyone else.
Yeah. Absolutely.
No one is, you know what I mean? More
and everyone has a different
important
perspective
than anyone else.
Yeah.
I mean, that what you do is important, and what your knowledge you might have might be more than someone else. So you can bring things to the table and help. But like, it's crazy.
Isn't
the
it wild?
ego.
Yeah.
I mean, you must experience it so much in your field.
Oh my God.
I've only heard stories about surgeons' egos.
Yeah.
But man, I'll tell you what, there's a tattooer ego is pretty wild, and it is so fragile.
Oh God.
It's so fragile.
And people throw rocks so much. I believe we all live in a glass house. Let's not throw rocks, right?
Yes.
Let's build each other up and let's
totally.
And I can imagine, right? Like the criticism that and the ego that is in your world, because I see it all the time. And especially for anyone who wants to try to think outside the box, right? Or explore different things. Like it's like a stay in line, sort of a mentality. And there are different aspects of medicine that are held in higher regard than others. I'm not in the academic world as much. I chose that because I believe in and not to say that you can't have it in the academic world, but I believe more so in cultivating similar to you, cultivating an experience more than anything that I can't do. And I tried, but you can't do it in the medical, in the standard traditional institutionalized medical community.
I've heard you talk about this.
Yeah. And isn't to say that we don't need, because we very much, and I kind of want to be a thought leader in my own way, but the part of medicine that's held so high is the research kind of part of it, right? Those are writing the papers, those are doing, all of the bench work, right? With regards to putting, and it's, like I said, it's amazing. And I think that you can have a combination of both, being an academic, doing the research, while at the same time holding true to what I believe a physician is, right? Which is someone who looks at the body and looks at the entire system, as well as in individual kind of siloed care. But in that, and what we're doing, obviously outside of that institution, definitely gets a lot of criticism, right? With regards to pushing and forcing insurances to come along, to recognize that there's more than what the insurance says, is out there to get patients, to better and back to their sports quicker. And how do we optimize? What are the different things? And just because there's no level 1 randomized controlled trial on it, like they say it's bunk, and and
there could be so many roadblocks.
Yeah,
there's so many roadblocks and different things, and it's such, man, especially having one of my best friends being in the medical field and deep in it. and knowing so many people, and what I've learned is so wild.
Yeah.
The medical industry is so many. There's so many good things, but then there's so many hard things to get around because it's a for-profit industry here.
Absolutely.
And then that just adds all these different facets to it, where
absolutely,
where it can be good at sometimes, but there's a lot of bads that happen.
We always say in our field that you can find a research study that supports what you do no matter what. I mean, there's so many studies on both sides of things. And if you really unpack it and peel back the layers, a lot of those studies are funded, right?
Funded by, that's what I always look for. I look for now who funded the study.
Yeah, absolutely. And they say this, and this works. I'm like, oh, well, that's their device and that's their implant. That's their medication, right? And they're the ones who funding the actual study. So it isn't to say that we shouldn't look at it, but looking at it with more of a critical eye like you are, So.
I try.
Yeah.
But even things have changed.
Well,
like, for example, my spine.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have 3-level disc replacement
Let's go
in
back
my
to
spine.
the drawing.
Yeah. So I have a 3-level disc ADR.
Yep. Yeah.
L3 through S1 disc
Did
replacement.
you get that done in SoCal with?
No, I got it in Germany.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you went.
So I got it in Germany with a Dr. Ritter Lang.
Yep. Yep.
But things have changed now since then.
Mm-hmm.
So like the M6 that I got, this is now a discontinued disc, or they're stopping continuation of it.
Yeah.
They say it's for, and this is speculatory. I'm going to speculate on why, but they say it's for something about like business wise. They're gonna the company Spinal Connect, not Spinal Connects. That's who started it. Forgot who owns it now.
Yeah.
I gotta remember the name.
M6.
Of it.
Look up the M6 disc.
Yeah, M6 discs by but they say they're discontinuing it because they're going to focus more on this thing or whatever.
Orthofix.
Okay.
They're going to focus more on this, but really it's because these discs, and more so than any other implant, and implants can cause osteolysis.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Doesn't matter. It's just a small percentage. It happens.
Yeah.
These ones are a higher percentage.
Yeah.
And especially not so much in the lumbar, but in the cervical.
Uh-huh.
You get these. If you don't know what osteolysis is, you get these fragments, these tiny microscopic fragments of an implant, like shavings or anything.
Yeah, debris.
With this, there could be from the titanium. It could be from the spray that they put on the titanium that also that helps promotes bone growth.
Yeah. Metallosis. We saw it in the hips, right?
Yeah, you have all these plastics, these incredible plastics that are involved in the disc, in the ADR.
Yeah, high molecular weight polyethylene. Yeah.
Yes, same stuff they put in bulletproof vests.
Yeah, absolutely.
This stuff lasts an extraordinarily long time. It is very, high, withstands high impact.
Right.
So it could be from that. But what it does is your body attacks these small particles, and it doesn't know that it's attacking your bone.
Right.
As well. So it's autoimmuning in a way, I guess.
We call them, you get these
correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely, you get this these pseudo tumors, right? That occur on it, right? Because your body is trying to sequester, and that's what it does, right? With anything, not only foreign, but tumors, is it tries to wall itself while it's growing. It walls itself off. So it looks like these tumors that are growing inside that bone, and it starts to kill and die off.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I am one of these unlucky small percentages. I haven't told you about this. I didn't
new.
want to tell you on the drive up because I was like, oh man.
Dude, yeah.
People are probably listening to me like, man, this poor guy. I honestly, you can nickname me Humpty Dumpty if you want. And I am just trying to put Humpty Dumpty back together again,
dude,
to get to the finish line.
That's right.
In as best shape as possible. So I am getting osteolysis.
Yeah. Oh, you know that.
I know that. And you know what's funny, man? This is all in a gut feeling. Everyone thought I was crazy.
Yeah.
Everyone thought I was being a little hypochondriac about it. And I'm like, no, man, I have this feeling. And they're like, yeah, but you're not in pain. And I'm like, I do go through bouts of pain.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, that's because you're just in the way the discs are and the way they've been put in. You're in some amount of extension. So I'm getting facet pain and different things. And then I'll go through it and I'll be fine. Like right now, I am in no pain.
Right.
I was a couple of days ago because I also surfed for like a straight hour.
I got extension into the facets. Right?
Yes, I got I mean, I was also, and then I set up an entire pool party for my shop and was lifting heavy stuff around and doing all this stuff. I don't lift anything over 50 pounds anymore, but
good.
Just a lot of activity. And I was like, I'm kind of sore. I'm also a 49-year-old man that had a 3-level disc replacement.
Right.
So,
and you've been charging for a long time.
And I still am.
Yes.
So, I got my X-rays and they were like, look, dude, everything's fine.
Yeah.
And then I got my MRI and they were like, everything's fine. And I even sent it to the hospital out there.
Yeah.
Not to throw shade against them, but they said everything's fine.
In Germany?
in Germany.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm going to see some surgeons.
Mhm.
And that way I can develop a relationship with really good surgeons here because now they do all this stuff here.
Yep.
I want to develop relationships with surgeons that are comfortable replacing disc. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
actually doing
Revising,
revisions.
Yeah.
And I just want to see them, meet them, and develop a relationship. So that way they know me, they know my story, they know my history before they go into it. I think that's important.
Right.
And first guy wouldn't see me without a CT scan. So I was like, okay, I'll get a CT scan. And I didn't want to get a CT scan because it's a lot of radiation. And I don't want to stray away from those unless it's absolutely necessary. But I was like, okay, I'll do it. I got the CT scan. And then that's when everyone's tune changed.
Yeah.
And everyone went, oh, you're not crazy.
Mhm.
And I followed that gut feeling and I'm glad I pursued it.
Yeah.
And they said, yeah, you have osteolysis and you have pars fractures. So with those pars fractures, and all of them agree, those pars fractures probably were there before I even got the first set of disc replacements, and they should have never have done a disc replacement on that top one anyways.
So you have more,
they didn't
you have
see
more
it,
mobility in that
more
in that
mobility
segment.
in that segment.
Yeah.
And but I'm stable.
Yeah. Yeah.
One doctor, the one that I'm actually going with,
Mhm.
he was like, I think it's amazing that you're stable.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, hey man, you're kind of freaking me out. I'm not going to go unstable. All of a sudden he's all, no, you've been stable
So for the
for
listener,
11 years now.
For the listener, that's what happens when you have a pars fracture. That's when you potentially develop spondylolisthesis or spondylolysis, where that one segment will kind of move or shift forward on another segment. And it's that area in the pars that kind of holds it. And it's a very prone area to injure and fracture. Yeah.
They should have never have done a disc replacement on the L3, L4.
Yeah.
They should have done a fusion with a cage and given
it 5-1. Yeah. 4-5 and 5-1.
4-5 and 5-1 should have been disc replacements, which they are.
Yeah.
But I'm stable.
Yeah.
So I'm just very lucky in that aspect.
Yeah.
But that's where all the osteolysis is. And there's a little bit in that L4, L5 level, but this stuff could have been going on for a while, for a long period of time. So I did have a surgeon.
It's in the body, in the vertebral bodies. Where in the spine are you seeing that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a video. Do you want to see it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you mind?
Yeah, but you know what, dude? I'm gonna get we're gonna get a bunch of people who, or maybe even surgeons who are like, that needs to go, that needs to get out now.
Whatever.
So I had everything. So I saw 3 of like literally the best spine surgeons in the LA area, which are some of the best. Fortunately, I live
I think the theme
near
of this
LA.
conversation is get multiple opinions, and so who
Multiple
cares?
opinions.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was really lucky because I have a guy that I know who's old friends with one of my good friends, and he sells like gets all the devices, all the new devices and technology into these guys' hands.
Sure. Yeah.
So he was calling them all a rep.
Yeah.
He was calling them up, and they love him, and he was like, "Hey, can you get this guy in quick?
Yeah.
Get him checked out." So, and he told me who he thought were some of the best, why, and. So I really
disc
good.
is big down there, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
So I saw some of the best, and I got opinions from one guy saying, looking at the osteolysis and being like, we'll just monitor it.
Right.
Let's just keep an eye on it and monitor it, all the way to like, that needs to come out now before it fractures. And all of them agree though, that the removal of that one cannot be a disc replacement again.
Yeah. Fuse it.
Because of the pars. And because of the osteolysis.
Bone graft.
Yeah, a fuse with a cage.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm okay with that because the original surgeon put it in a little too shallow, and it's putting me in some extension.
Okay.
So, here we go again. Back to my files of all my medical stuff.
You know what's funny is I was going to text you and say, hey, if you have any, I
am prepared.
Images, X-rays, videos.
Okay, so because
so good.
So because each frame that I'm giving you isn't taking time to load when you go through it like you know what I mean, like a video. When you scroll, you're not getting the best pixelated version of it. But I'll send it to you right now. Yeah, you'll get the idea.
Yeah.
I wonder if this just gets worse as it goes on. If anyone's watching this and they're just like, "Oh my God, like, stop, be okay," you know.
I had honestly, I knew a lot of it, but I didn't know the extent of this for sure.
I wanted to surprise you.
Yes.
Hey, what a wonderful surprise!
I know.
Check out this horrible thing that I'm going through and in the middle of right now.
But I I trust that I know you so well that I already know that you have such an epic team lined up and you've done all your research and you've talked to everyone, which actually is the
100%.
The reason why I even wanted to have you in the beginning of all of this is because of how well and how, how thorough you are with, getting to the bottom of just understand, not just talking to people, but understanding it
Yes.
to the level that you need to understand it in order to make an empowered decision for yourself.
And I don't know if it's because I'm so fascinated with medical technology and the advancements of medical science,
Yeah.
or if it's because I'm such a productive, you know what I mean, go getter, and I persevere.
Yeah.
I just keep going, or it's a combination of both. It's probably a combination of both.
Yeah.
But I really just feel like I have to know all the information. I want to meet all the people, because that actually is one of the things I regretted about my original surgery.
Yeah.
Is I wish I would have flown around and gotten a few opinions, but it was also, you couldn't really get too many. They weren't doing this stuff here on at an advanced scale,
absolutely.
and especially multi-level like that, 3 levels in one shot.
Right. And we learn through injury, right? Like I see it all the time. When an athlete comes in for the first time, they're very different when they come in the second and potentially the third and fourth time. With how they want to gather that information, how much they actually want to know, and then obviously that knowledge compounds over and over and over again.
Yes,
not in kind of the information gathering phases, but also the recovery phases too. And so you've obviously had a lot of good experience and
heavy experiences, man.
Did
it come up?
No, try sending it one more time. I think I may have accidentally denied it, but
it might be a big file too.
Accept, save to downloads. Oh yeah, it's downloading right now.
It's a big file.
Yeah.
But
you're just CT scan. Oh.
Yeah, so what this is, just for context, is it's like let's say this is my spine. These are photographs of it this way, films of it this way. So you're moving down my vertebrae right there.
Okay.
You can actually probably see maybe a pars fracture, but you're moving down my vertebrae down into the levels of the disc.
Okay.
So here's where the osteolysis starts.
So let me orient the potential viewer. I know this is going to be an audio too, but let me orient anyone who's watching. So what he's saying is this is an axial view. So it's a cross-section view. And think about Tim laying on the table. So this is the back of his spine over here. This is the spinous process. That's the bone that we can all feel on our back. His belly is up in this direction over here, his stomach and belly. This is what we call the vertebral body. This is a CT scan, so we're just going to highlight the bone here. This is going to be
spinal cord.
Yep, exactly. So spinal cord, this is the central canal right here. The spinal cord lives in here. You're going to have your transverse processes that come over the side right here. And then you're going to have your articulating facet. So this is the facet joint that sits on the back, and this is where the segments are connected through this facet, as well as the disc, which we'll see kind of in between here. And then think about Tim laying on the table with his body coming out towards us. So this is going to be his left side over here, and this is going to be his right side. So it's not so much an aerial view, but under view, like looking from your feet up into you as well. So
I love these. Just so you know, if you ever get a surgery or get even just a diagnosis, a look at, what do you call it? A consultation. A consultation from Masi. He sends you these wonderful videos back explaining it so concisely too. Yeah. So it's nice because, I do understand a lot of medical terminology, but you send this wonderful, concise video back explaining everything.
Yeah.
I freaking love that, man. I still have them saved.
Yeah.
I have those videos.
Thank you, man.
Because I also show them for people when I'm like, hey, you should get an opinion from this guy.
Yeah.
And then I show them the video and they're like, wow, that's so nice.
Yeah.
And nobody does this. People do, but not a lot of people do this.
It came out of recognizing that the better the patient understood what was going on, the better they approach their injury, the better they approach the pathology, the better they approach the recovery, and then ultimately
the more they trust you too.
The more they trust you.
And putting their trust into you is a lot as well.
Yeah.
You don't want them to be frantic going
That's
into
exactly
it.
Right.
They want to be at ease more.
That's right.
And more comfortable.
And their outcomes are better because of it, right?
I think so.
I truly believe that. I just feel like, I know the spiritual side, and we talked a little bit about it in the truck, is that if you know what's going on, potentially understand it in the level that you can put your mind to work, right, on it, then the outcome improves.
Yeah, I think so.
So
I believe that. All right, so you
this
see
didn't show up on the MRI?
No.
What?
It didn't show up on the MRI. You can kind of see it now when you're looking at it in the X-ray.
Yeah.
But look at so the disc. The disc is still tack welded in there, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then you can see some of it keep going down. There's some of it right there.
Right there in the back. Yeah.
In the back.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as bad as the top part.
Yeah. The top is bad. Yeah.
So
So that's this right here, this black that we see right in through this area.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. I don't want to say all the guys that I saw. They're great surgeons.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
really liked all of them. I
Yeah.
felt like it was really tough for me. I was like, man, I've been getting opinions from 3 of the best spine surgeons.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with Grant Shiflett.
Okay. Yeah.
You know
he's-
Grant Shiflett?
Yeah. He works directly, or he trained under
Bray.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
Bray. Yeah. Yeah.
So I
Shiflett's
really
great.
like Grant. So I saw Grant and I went back to him.
Mhm.
And then you know what I did? I actually went like this, which I'm sure you'd appreciate being a surgeon. But I went, "Hey, Grant, can I tell you something?" And he goes, "Yeah, what's up?" And I say, "Okay, so I feel like when you say things that so look, I said one of the biggest things I regret doing in my first surgery is not getting more opinions.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing that this time. So I've seen other people,
Mhm.
and I said, and I go, but when I parrot things, because all you guys have different opinions. There's certain things that are all the same.
Yeah.
All across the board, you guys all believe
Yeah.
that if you revise that top one, the L3, L4, you got to refuse it.
Yeah.
And I go, but there's other things that each of you are conflicting. When I parrot things that they say to get your opinion on what they've said, I feel like I'm being dishonest in a weird way.
Yeah.
I'd like to just tell you who I've seen, what they said, and why your opinion differs.
Yeah.
Differs.
Yeah.
And he just immediately, this is his words, "I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I totally appreciate that. Let's hear it."
Yeah.
So I told him, and I said their opinions, and I said, "This is what differs." And he said, okay. And he explained it all really well.
Yeah.
He's really good at explaining it. But what he
Explaining
did,
what he wanted to do, or explaining why that opinion existed to begin with, or both.
I think both. Yeah.
Okay.
And he was still kind of, there was one opinion, he's like, "Man, I wonder why he wants to do that."
Yeah.
You know?
I'll stop you. That's a tough position, because I'm in that position quite often. A lot of my
Okay,
patients have seen multiple
yeah.
opinions, and I do send people out for multiple opinions.
And he knows him. He
Yeah.
knows the guy,
That's a really hard thing sometimes when a patient comes. Not that we aren't willing to do it, and I try, but like to try to explain and put yourself in the mind of that other opinion,
Yeah.
to be able to present it in a way that the patient comprehends it is sometimes really, really hard.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't know why you would say that, and I'm not saying that.
Yeah. And you don't want to be
I'm
like,
right and
"What
he's
is it,
wrong?"
crazy?
Yeah,
Or,
exactly.
because
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
something that led him to believe that.
Sure.
And which I think that Grant he was
Yeah.
probably wanting to know if
Yeah.
there was information he might have been missing that
Right.
led him to believe that. And he wants to know that information too.
Uh-huh.
I'm just speculating.
Yeah.
But, excuse me. So what Grant did is he did something that nobody else has done.
Uh-huh.
He said, this is before this. He goes, "I want to send you out for a SPECT scan."
I was gonna say.
And he did a SPECT scan, and he compared it with my CT, and the CT wasn't too old to compare them.
Yeah.
And do you want to explain to him what a SPECT scan is? I mean, I had to get radioactive dye injected to my vein.
Yeah.
And then I had to come back in an hour after it had really gone through. And then rather than for lack of a better terminology or lack of a better explanation, rather than an X-ray where that is the radioactive, a substance going through to photograph your bones, I was radioactive, and they were photographing me
Absolutely. Yeah.
being radioactive.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like showing the contrast throughout the entire body,
Yes.
as opposed to in that one specific kind of
Yes,
segment.
and you know
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
did that?
Absolutely.
Was
Yeah.
to see how bright it lit up, because it will
Active.
light up.
See how
active.
active it
See
was,
how
yeah.
active the osteolysis was.
Right.
And he goes, "Well, Tim," and he brought up the scan, and he goes, "This surprises me."
Yeah.
And I said, "Okay." He's all, "I would have, normally this would just be lit up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's barely showing anything."
Mm-hmm.
So he goes, he's all, "I want to scan this again in about 6 months and see any rate of and see what the rate of progression is, if any."
Yeah.
And I said, "Okay." And he also told me, do not just jump right into a surgery. It was kind of neat. He goes, "Look, man, what's the old expression? Like, you want to get cut open, see a surgeon."
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
If you want surgery, go ask a surgeon.
Go ask
Yeah.
a surgeon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he goes, "I'm really not that surgeon.
Yeah.
I want to know all the information. I want to know all the ins and outs.
Love it.
I want to make sure." And I said, "I really like that, So he's all, "I want you to live your life."
Mm-hmm.
And I go, "Grant, I'm not the normal 49-year-old man.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, okay. And I go, I surf, and I don't surf small waves.
Right.
When I go to Hawaii, I surf whatever's out there.
Right.
I skateboard sometimes. I just got back from a snowboarding trip to Mammoth.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I told him. And I'm like, I'm not your normal 49-year-old man. I am like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I live harder than most 25-year-olds, you know? So, and he goes, great.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, you know,
Really
he's
good
like,
at that.
he said, I would be shocked if anything happened between now and then.
Yeah.
You know, he said, I'd be surprised. Cause I looked at him, I said, well, I've surprised you before.
Yeah.
And he laughed and he said, that's true. But
Yeah.
so I would be surprised. And he also measured exact measurement on the thing. Cause I said, well, what if I don't want to lose enough bone to where you can, now I'm not an option for a fusion. He said, look, the largest cage I have is X amount of millimeters.
Mm-hmm.
And he measured I think it was like 22 millimeters wide in that aspect.
Right.
And he measured my bone right there. And he goes, look, you have like 43 millimeters of bone left.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, yeah, I think
You
you're
got
okay.
a long way. Your symptoms would probably worsen before that ever happened.
But he said, he's all, you don't want to like let this go.
Right.
So right now, as we speak,
Yeah.
I'm in that middle stage between him, talking to him, and then me getting a CT scan, which now he knows where to CT. So he's going to localize it. So
you
it's
don't get the
less radiation.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I'm living my life.
Yeah. Good.
And I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I'm really not that stressed out about it, which I know I
That's
should
what you're saying.
be.
You go, I'm better.
I'm better at it. I'm better at it.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I did a little, I just get too stressed out about stuff. So I did a little bit of EMDR therapy for stressing over things.
Yeah.
And it's really helped me.
Yeah.
And I just my thought doesn't go to immediately like worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And right now I'm not stressed out about it because I'll cross that bridge when it comes.
Good
and when
for
I get
you.
my next CT, we'll see how much it's the progression of it. But the end of the day, I do have to get that one fused.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's go back to this.
That's an evolution in you, my man. I'm proud.
Thank you.
No, really. Like,
Thank you.
Because it's important. Meaning, like, if you, it's one thing to have the opinion that we'll continue to monitor and do serial CTs and that sort of thing. And if you can release and let go and allow yourself to be who you are physically, despite that, that's great. But it's real if you can't, right?
Yeah.
Meaning, like, quality of life is going to be significantly altered. And that's enough for a lot of patients to just do something about something, right?
Yes.
If they can't be their kind of authentic self in and around their sports and their family, et cetera, knowing that something exists.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm leaving for Thailand in like 3 days and I
good.
can't
That's
wait.
right, you
I'm
did say
going to
that.
go have a blast out there and I'm not worried about this.
yeah.
But so if you look at this image, so here is my
cool.
disc replacements.
Go here.
So the top one with the osteolysis, you can kind of see it now.
What you
If
the
you
hyperextension right there. Yeah.
yeah, so that's me at normal.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
me standing. That's not me in extension. So
Did they
I'm
do
kind of permanently in extension.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's
that
this right there. Yeah. Right there. See, it's open
yes,
in the back.
yeah. The middle one looks good.
Yeah. Middle one's good. And
They all like that middle one except
Yeah.
for the osteolysis.
right.
That bottom one is actually failing, but it's been sitting like that. You see how
Mhm.
it's pushed forward.
And it looks like, if you're really critical, there's maybe a little bit of a step off right here from,
Yeah.
Is that the level that the PARS was?
No, the level
Yeah,
at the PARS
higher.
is the top level,
Yeah.
L304.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. But the whole thing shifts, right? A little
Yes.
bit.
So
Okay.
I'm in extension.
Mhm.
So they're gonna. Shiflet said, "I hope Grant doesn't mind that I'm talking about him in this. I don't think he will. You
Yeah.
know? But
We can always
he's-
send him in.
I don't think he will.
Yeah. Okay.
But he's going to replace that bottom one while he's in there.
Okay.
He said he
Nice.
didn't. That one didn't bother him
Yeah.
originally. You know,
Mhm.
like he was like, it doesn't bother me.
Well, the L5S1 junction has a little bit more extension than all of the other ones too. The slipping
Totally,
ones a little
yeah.
bit.
But he's
So-
going to replace that one
Mhm.
and put a pro disc.
Yep.
And then he's going to fuse the top level. So I'm actually going to be in a better position because that bottom one, because it's pushed forward like that, it's
Yeah.
really not. I'm not getting any mobility out of it.
Mhm.
And then that top one, because it's an extension as well.
Yeah, you're going to be able to.
I'm not getting much, very minimal mobility out of that as well.
Right.
So
So
it's almost like I'm fused already on 2 levels.
Yeah.
So when he fuses the
and
top
it's going
one,
to offload your facets in the back
Yes.
too as soon as you do that.
he's going to
So,
take me out of some of the extensions.
Yeah.
So my posture is going to be a little bit better. And then I'm going to have more mobility at the bottom one. So
Yeah.
I look at it as, I got to go through this.
you
but-
can see this right here though, yeah? Is that right there?
Now I can.
Yeah.
Now we notice
Yeah,
it, you
yeah.
know. But so now, so at the bottom level, I'm going to have more mobility. So I'm just
Mhm.
going to be in a better position.
Yeah.
I'm going to have more mobility and a better posture.
Yeah.
And I really recover well, and I work hard to go through
Yeah.
recoveries,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's all mental, because if I broke my arm and my bone was protruding through the skin, I'm not going to be like, I can think this back
right.
to normal, you know?
Right.
So,
mind over body.
but I do believe that there's how you carry yourself mentally and how you work through your recovery and how hard you work for physical therapy and, and going through it is so huge. It's so important.
You gave it 50% in the truck. I gave it like 80, 90%.
Yeah. So on our conversation over here, I
yeah.
said, man, physical therapy is
Yeah.
like 50% of it. And he was
Yeah.
like, more. And I go, yeah, I guess 50% minimally.
Yeah,
Minimally. You
minimally.
have to
Yeah.
do 50% is what you
Yeah.
put in after the surgery and
Yeah.
during your recovery.
Yeah. And
But
then even
there's-
the prep leading up to it, right? And
Yes,
part of that is
totally.
obviously you've done that and continue to do that is educating yourself, but also putting yourself in the best physical position to handle the trauma that comes with the collateral that comes with the actual
Yes.
procedure itself.
Yeah.
You
So
know?
so like back to what we were talking about, circling back completely around. Now 10 years later, 11 years ago when I got this, I was like, go fly out to Germany, go get an M6.
Mhm.
But now with what we're learning and what we're knowing, and it's still not bad.
Yeah.
It's not a bad. These are all levels of good. But
Right.
it's like now I'm like, no, stay here. There's some incredible guys out in the LA area here that
Yeah.
are just doing wonderful things, and get a different disc.
Yeah. I
So-
think, you acted with the information that you had at that time. And I think that was what availed, because I had so many patients and friends that had gone out there too as well. And I think
Yeah.
that was the cutting edge then, right? He was the
And
only
they're
one.
doing great.
Yeah.
My friend Luke
Yeah.
got a L5S1 M6, and he is like, it saved his life. He was on a cane. He's doing amazing.
Yeah.
I am telling some of them to maybe just get a precautionary CT
Mm-hmm.
and see if there's any osteolysis.
What was it that you felt? What was your intuition? What was your gut feeling? Like,
I don't know,
yeah,
man.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a feeling that I get.
Yeah.
And religious wise, I'm agnostic.
Uh-huh.
I just believe in being a good human being and
Mhm.
doing unto others as you would want done unto you. I
Love
believe that it's a better way to live. I believe in being honest. I just believe it's a
Absolutely.
better way. It makes you happier. It makes those around you happier.
Mhm.
It's a better way to carry your life.
Right.
As far as religion goes, I don't know. I
Right.
can't tell you it's true. I can't tell you it's not.
Mhm.
People say, well, then you're atheist. I'm all, no, because
Mhm.
that's saying I believe in something that I can't prove.
Right.
I can't tell you that's true as I'm not. I'm just going to live really good.
Mhm.
And when I die, whatever's out there is
Right.
out there.
Right.
Right. So, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just not going to put an emphasis on my life.
Yeah.
So I forgot the whole point of that.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? You're asking me about
your intuition. Meaning
Intuition.
Like,
So,
all the scans
I
were
get these
negative,
still small
everything-
voices.
Yeah.
I don't question them. I
Yeah.
just listen to them.
Yeah.
The last time this happened, I was going to do a trip to Indonesia on a boat trip, and then I was going to leave the boat halfway through or at the end, and I was going to jump off and stay on an island for another 2 weeks
Mhm.
and do a 2-week island trip. So like a month of just surfing Indo. Who would
Yeah.
want to do that?
Yeah.
I kept getting a bad feeling leading up to a bad feeling. So I didn't go on the boat trip. I canceled it. I got this doctor to say I had pneumonia,
Yeah.
and I got partial
Reimbursed.
insurance
Yeah.
reimbursement.
Yeah.
And my friends went on the trip, and they weren't going to do the land trip camp. It was just me.
Mhm.
They went on the boat trip, came back, said, dude, you missed it. We scored. It was amazing. I was
Yeah.
just like, oh my God, I fucked up.
Yeah.
What is wrong with me?
Yeah.
And then a week later, while I would have been on that land camp, the earthquake happened, and the tidal wave hit
Yeah.
and wiped out like half the camp, and people died. And
Yeah.
I was
Yeah, I
like,
got
my friend called me and was like,
Goosebumps.
bro, what the hell? Like how? And I just go, I don't know, man. I just kind of followed it. It's not like I'm some,
Yeah.
like I'm going to predict the end of the world.
Right. Right.
But
you felt
I just
something.
kept
Yeah.
getting this feeling. I just
Yeah.
knew something was going on.
Yeah.
Something was up.
Yeah.
And so I just pursued it. And the next time I get this feeling, it could be never. It could
Yeah.
be a year from now. It could be 10 years from now.
Yeah.
I'm going to pursue it, and I'm going to follow that feeling, that gut feeling.
Mhm.
and just see where it takes me.
Yeah. I love that. You have that about people too.
I don't know.
I
like to think I do. I've
You
been
do.
wrong, man.
No, you have an incredible intuition. That's something I'm working
thank
on with
you.
myself. I'm such a credulous person, this in general, meaning like I just believe in the good in people, right? Like, and I believe
Yeah.
everyone has, we're all here together, like you said. We're all trying to do the same thing, right? Be the best version of ourselves for not only us, but for our community, for our family, for our kids, and
Yes.
and just try to do good out there, right? Whatever that means to you, right? And
yes.
in
And I
that-
try to forgive.
Yeah,
And I try to forgive because everybody fucks up.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
for lack of a better expression. But people, we make mistakes.
Yeah.
And I read something a long time ago that Mahatma Gandhi said
Mhm.
that really resonated with me, and it still does to this day. And he said, "The weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is an attribute of the strong."
yeah. Love that.
And I was like, man, that's heavy.
Yeah,
And I memorized it
it's so good.
because I try to live by it now, and I try to be forgiving. Doesn't mean you have to forget
Mhm.
or be
Mhm.
friends with that person again, or
Right.
even put your trust in them again.
Yeah,
But you can forgive and move forward. And if you carry all that baggage with you,
you
then-
called it poison earlier.
yeah, poison. It's
It's
like
poison.
drinking poison and
Mhm.
hoping another person dies.
Right.
That's what a grudge
Absolutely.
is.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I've worked to have to, I think I traditionally have been not necessarily a grudge holder, but kind of a never forget sort of a,
Yeah.
situation. And I think it's mainly because of my own, my own sensitivity and allowing things to affect me more than it should.
Yeah.
Right. And so
yeah.
doing the work on recognizing that just because you can be offended doesn't mean you have to be in
Yeah,
certain
and
situations.
We're not
right?
going to forget also because
Yeah.
we're like you just evolving Cro-Magnon
Yeah.
beings.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So hundreds of years of evolution is giving us a protective
Yeah.
type of thing to
Yeah.
to not let yourself get hurt again.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's okay.
I'm-
That's all right.
I'm talking a lot about this guy Mike Zeller that's we're doing work with, and he talks and we're working through some ancestral stuff. And like you're saying, like things actually get passed down from it's in our cells, right? And
Yes.
so whether it's trauma or massacre or something like that, it gets passed down and passed down. So things that maybe we can't necessarily articulate are in our cells, based
Yes.
on and so not say that you aren't forgiven because of that, but you're right. It's
But
in us.
recognizing them
Yeah.
and then combating them, or embracing the good parts of them
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
what separates people, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What a
So
cool story.
Would you,
So,
like,
so
would you
it's-
like to look over any other injuries of mine?
Oh, I
Because
love
it doesn't end there.
Oh,
Go
man,
back
this
to the
is
sheet.
amazing. Yeah. Do you got time? This is good.
I got
man.
time, dude. I don't know if
Oh.
we're holding the viewers for this long. They're probably
No,
like,
I'm
man.
sure they love it. They want to
Oh,
see it.
jeez.
I love it. Oh my god. I mean,
Yeah. What else?
let's see. Let's go here. We got a lot of screens open. There we go. Yeah. I obviously have an intimate knowledge of the shoulders, of course, and we can talk about that. I want to see if there's anything else here I want to.
By the way, my shoulders still feel amazing.
Yeah, let's talk about that then.
If you want,
Yeah.
I mean, my
Yeah.
shoulders feel amazing.
Yeah.
You are exactly right. So,
Oh, yeah.
so when this all happened, I
Say
don't know
that
if
in
you
the back
remember
for me. Oh,
this,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
but this was my first time getting stem cell. I mean, what's the proper term?
Yeah, regenerative medicine or orthobiologics.
Orthobiologics.
Orthobiologics,
So
yeah.
this is my first time getting stem cell,
Yeah.
and I did do research and I looked around at
Oh, you
different
were
places.
so knowledgeable. Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to be,
Yeah.
and I know more now.
Yeah.
But Billy, obviously Billy
Yeah.
Kemper.
Yeah.
This is who introduced us, our
Yeah.
mutual friend Billy Kemper,
Yeah. Yeah.
which we both love and adore.
him, dude. Yeah.
Um,
What a good guy.
But so you sent me this video back and you
Mhm.
talked about what's going on my shoulders.
Right.
Some of it I knew, some of it was like interesting to, because it wasn't just what was wrong with it, but it was what was the connection between everything.
How it was all interrelated. and-
Yeah. So
yeah.
this one was from a skateboarding accident,
Mhm.
dislocated it, tore my rotator cuff.
Right.
Didn't really really rehab it too well because I
Uh-huh.
was young and crazy
Right.
and just wanted to be on a skateboard all day. This one was a torn labrum from most likely boxing
Mhm.
because that's a very common boxing industry or
Yeah.
injury, but
Mhm.
also from just paddling. I mean, I can't imagine how many times I've swung this
Oh, for
arm
sure.
doing
Yeah.
strokes paddling in the water. I've been surfing
And not to mention,
since I was 6
not
years
to
old.
mention the starfishing in the falls and getting caught in.
Totally getting
right
my
there.
arm thrown above my head.
Absolutely,
So
yeah.
I had a torn labrum and a lot of tearing.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
a
had-
decent amount.
And you had a surgery on
never had a
Oh, right,
surgery.
that's right. That's right. You
Yeah,
didn't have
I
a
was
Lucy
trying to
stroke.
avoid
That's
surgery.
right. That's right. That's right.
So I
Yeah,
kept
yeah.
rehabbing it and strengthening it and
Mhm.
doing lots of physical therapy to avoid surgery.
Yeah.
So you sent me a video back, and at the end of it, the whole takeaway was, I really think that biologics can do a lot for your labrum.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can really help your right shoulder, but I
Right.
can't perform a miracle on your right shoulder.
Right,
And you
right.
explained why.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
you were exactly right. It's been about 2 years
Yeah, it's
since
been a while. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming up on 2 years.
Yeah.
And I mean, this one still, I get a little thing hitch now. I mean, I
Mhm.
can literally feel it going crunch, 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 and moving around in there.
Right.
But the pain is way better.
Yeah.
And I, it's you did a lot for this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not. You said you couldn't perform a miracle, but
Yeah.
man, my left,
Yeah.
it is insane.
It was really
Like,
it was
it is-
really cool to hear what your boxing coach was telling you too.
Oh,
like,
he
months
immediately, when I
afterwards.
started training again, he goes, "Your left hook is changed.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as labored."
Yeah.
And it kept getting better and stronger. And
Yeah.
and I always had this. I have this really ugly boxing style.
Yeah.
Okay. It is both.
I wouldn't be able to judge
both
that,
my
so,
boxing
yeah.
coaches,
Yeah.
my original one and my one now,
Uh-huh.
will both say, "Yeah, you just have a really awkward, ugly style."
Yeah.
But they both say the same thing. Also, they say, "But it's effective."
Right. Right.
Because I come from weird angles and I'm unorthodox.
right. Right. That's just
But
something
my
that started when
hook
you were young.
was
Yeah.
my left hook was always a problem. It was always weak and labored, and
yeah.
I was like, "Was it my positioning?
Mhm.
Am I, coming off of a left right
Yeah.
hook?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3 coming."
It just wasn't
Maybe I
smooth.
just wasn't positioning
Yeah.
it right, or
Yeah.
I could not get it to hit hard. And man, I have no problem with it now. It was all just, torn labrum, and it just things weren't working properly.
Oh.
I was guarding.
Yeah.
Basically,
you
what
were
I was
guarding.
doing. I was just guarding,
And you were
s-
compensating too. Right.
Yes.
And I think that that's the blessing and the curse of being an athlete, is that we as athletes have a much, much higher capacity to compensate. And so it's easy to hide things, right?
Yeah.
Until they're bad enough. And then you get imaging. And as anyone who's been active in their entire life, especially at the level that you did, we're gonna find something.
Yeah.
Right. And it's kind of similar to the conversations we were talking about earlier, as far as just because something shows up doesn't necessarily mean we need to like go in and cut or intervene. It's about
Yeah.
what's the story behind that, right? One, and two, what's the pattern that has happened because of that story, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you were dealing with. Yes, there was labral tearing in there was changes on it, but it was, what happened is the rotator cuff and all their stabilizing small intrinsic muscles had shut off in the setting of the body recognizing that pathology. And so you were overpowering using your delt, using your pec, using your lats and traps and everything else like that, and not really harnessing the power of your rotator cuff to stabilize that shoulder as you came across.
Yeah.
And so my goal is not to say, oh, let's go in there and fix things. It's to neutralize the cellular process that's happening in there, right? By bringing the cells in there to block the enzymes that are actually causing things to be painful and the signal that's going out to shut off the rotator cuff, but also shut things down and provide blood supply and the cells that are responsible for actually giving nourishment back to that rotator cuff again.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And obviously the shutdown process that goes through that. And so what we really are doing is
Well, the labrum is my left.
yeah. But yeah, the labrum here for sure, like into the front, but then also I think we did everything. We injected into the subacromial space. We did,
Yeah.
all
Oh,
that.
I watched the
And so-
videos.
yeah.
You even told me, you're like, man, I dumped so much stem
we,
cell.
we loaded you. So we went, I mean, we do a lot of it awake now through numbing medication with yous. And we kind of went back and forth. I know we ended up doing a MAC anesthesia with propofol on you. So you were out.
Yeah.
Because one, I wanted to take as much time as I needed. I didn't want to feel rushed or pressure to do anything.
Yeah.
And two, I felt like there was so much going on. Not that you couldn't have handled it, right? The pain, kind of the discomfort. But I knew I wanted to go with super therapeutic, super high volume cells, super high volume PMAC and PRP, and really take our time to go through it.
Yeah.
And so the labrum was, once we got that to kind of calm down a little bit, that's when you were able to get the cuff kind of firing again and stabilizing that shoulder again.
Yeah.
That wasn't the primary issue, was the labrum, but the other side, just because you had that.
Oh,
I
yeah, because
remember
it was overcompensating. huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then of course the cyst on that side and everything and that was, just with multiple rotator cuff
Yeah.
injuries and strains on that side too, as well. And, yeah, no, I'm so happy just cause, meaning, that you saw what we hope to see and typically see, because unfortunately sometimes a lot of these, this pathology ends up in the OR, right? And they're just never the same afterwards. Not to mean that we won't intervene where we have to, but gosh, in a perfect world,
I think there's a point where some things just need it.
Yeah.
Like stem cells wasn't going to fix my hand.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a breaking point. There's a line where it's like, you need to be operated on.
And that's our responsibility, right? And that's the tricky part with all this. And in the age of information right now, obviously it becomes harder and harder because a lot of people are jumping at this wave because regenerative medicine is probably the fastest growing subspecialty in every aspect. I was just talking to the CEO of MSite, who provides a lot of the cells that we use.
You looked at Javier De Luna, his wrist.
Oh, that's right.
And you actually said, I don't think biologics are going to help you.
Absolutely.
And then he ended up getting a surgery from Viola.
Yeah.
Because they're like family friends.
Yeah.
And he's great.
He's doing good.
He's totally fine.
Yeah. It's our responsibility to recognize where we can. It's not this magic bullet. It's not going to fix everything, right? But it can help in areas where, one, we have poor blood supply, and two, things aren't, torn and retracted and broken and that sort of thing, right? And so I think that there's a lot of misinformation out there on what it actually does. And then that's kind of my mission, not necessarily through this platform, but just in general, and speaking to my patients, is being very, very clear on where we can help and where the limitations exist with the biologic medicine.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And it's fun. It's really cool to see. I mean, we're constantly redefining, what we can do with it. I had a young patient with a complete ACL rupture, surfer on Maui, who young kid, which obviously is part of it, but tore his ACL in kind of the worst possible time, right? Like this is July leading up to wintertime. And as you know, on the islands is everywhere. Wintertime is that's the season. That's the arena, right?
Yeah.
And it was going out
also that's your moneymaker.
That's exactly right. Yeah. With these sponsorships. And so had a trip planned out to kind of endo and got a chance to review his MR and was like, you know what? Yeah, it's torn, right? If we do a procedure now, like a reconstruction, you're out for whatever, 9 months to a year. So we're going to miss this winter. And as you know, every winter is huge for these guys. And he's like, well, what if I just get through this winter and we end up doing the procedure in March or whatever, like after in the springtime? I was like, yeah, that's super reasonable. Let's do whatever we can to keep you safe and stable through that. Right. And by doing that, maybe, knee brace, but also if you want to throw everything at it, why don't we try PRP stem cells to see if we can, help at least improve the environment inside the knee while you're waiting to have this procedure. And he's like, yeah, for sure. Right. Came out and did it. And through rehab and a lot of the kind of the trainers and stuff that I work with, was getting into like October and November. And they were like, Masi, he's feeling pretty stable, feeling pretty good. He doesn't want to surf in his brace and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, make sure he wears a brace. And they're like, can we get an MRI? I'm like, yeah, let's get an MRI. And we got an MRI 5 months after this injection in this young patient with a complete rupture, and multiple doctors look at it, like complete rupture of an ACL. And I shit you not, like healed.
No way.
Healed
an ACL?
An ACL. I know. It sounds.
I mean, an MCL,
exactly.
Not
MCL,
a surprise.
Approximate MCL. And I went back and looked at previous scans. I missed it. He still hasn't had surgery, and he's surfing. He's one of the bigger names in the surf community right now. And hasn't had surgery on as well. I think what happened is his sheath was intact. You couldn't really see it on the MRI, and the sheath is what goes around the ACL, has the blood supply coming to it as well. It was intact, and then he tore up at the top, and it kind of came down. I'm not sure if the cells got into the sheath potentially, and in there, but it was rigid. Negative endpoint, meaning on exam. Positive endpoint on exam, like negative Lockman exam. No subjective instability, surfing the biggest waves in the world, and no issues at all.
Wow.
And I'm not advocating for that, just for the listener. I'm not saying that, like, if you have an ACL, just go get stem cells and it's going to heal. But it really has us thinking about, okay, where can we potentially go? And this is a very unique situation in the sense that, as you know, with athletes, that we have specific therapeutic windows that we can work in, and the career is so short, like with all of them. And had this happened in like January or February, it would have been like, no, he would have been on the table. We would have been reconstructing it right away to get him ready for the next winter, right?
Yeah.
And so we have to play that game of the timing when we work with the professional athletes on when to do things. And it just so happened that he was not in that window to have that surgery and wanted to salvage that year. And it's the only reason we did it is to try to salvage that season for him.
Yeah.
And then come back and fight another day.
So wild.
And so it's not anything I ever would have done. Even now I get a young patient, I'm like, I still don't trust, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it does beg the question of like, how far can we go with this stuff? And
that's amazing.
I know. Isn't that incredible?
I know I read about how they're putting patches.
The picture after all this.
I would love that.
Yeah.
They're putting these biologic like stem cell patches on parts of the heart.
Oh yeah.
Where there's dead tissue from events.
Yeah, absolutely.
And and healing dead tissue on the
Yeah.
heart. And that's like, before that was
Yeah.
completely impossible.
Yeah,
It was like,
absolutely.
once that tissue's dead in your heart, it's dead
Yeah.
for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And they're finding,
Yeah.
they're finding
It's
changes
not
to
the-
it
yeah,
now.
it's not
So
the case. In the
our
fracture,
kids are going to grow up in such a better
I know,
time, right?
exactly.
I feel like I'm just keeping up with some of these things, and
I
I'm
love
still, behind on certain stuff, and be like, okay,
Oh, no, you're
medical
not.
science is going to catch
Dude.
up to this one, and man, our
Wow.
kids are just going to have such a more comfortable life.
And there's things like with the disc replacement and with the total hips and the osteolysis and the pseudotumors and all that stuff. Like we're benefiting obviously from the trials of the previous
Yeah.
generation, and I'm sure that the next generation is going to come behind us and be like, I can't believe they were reconstructing ACLs, or I can't believe that
Totally.
they were doing that.
Just
sort
like
of
I said,
stuff.
10 years ago,
Yeah.
this disc was like, this
Yeah.
was the big thing, and he was the
Yeah.
the hot shit.
Yeah.
And now,
Now-
things are just changing
Yeah.
and things rearrange.
Yeah.
And
And
you adapt.
And I, for me, a lot of this came from the fracture world. And a lot of times, and I'm not a trauma specialist, obviously, but did a lot of rotations and work through, and we learned a lot of it through our residency, obviously. And they always talked about respecting the biology. When you go to a fracture, there's different, what we call approaches, meaning how you get through the skin and the soft tissue to get to that fracture, respecting obviously the blood vessels and the nerves, but not disrupting kind of the blood supply in the area and not disrupting what they called the biology. And so I was like, well, if we care so much about that to get a bone heal, why don't we enhance the biology, or why can't we enhance the biology, right?
Yeah.
Like if
Yeah.
there's concern of us disrupting it and things won't heal, is the opposite true, that we can enhance it to improve healing where healing otherwise wouldn't exist, right? And so that's the fracture community, that's where I really got into, okay, well, if this was previously a surgery and it doesn't heal because the blood supply is not great in that area, what if we increase the blood supply to that area? Will it heal? And can we avoid implants in that area? And the collateral damage, like you've heard me talk about with actually having the surgery. And I know it sounds silly coming from a surgeon, but like there's collateral damage. There's always collateral damage, right? When you
Yes.
go into surgery. And if the goal is to get biology to there, and if you're going in there to put something and hold something in an area just because the blood supply is bad, what if we just increase the blood supply, right?
Yeah.
And not just blood supply, obviously high concentrations of the cells that are responsible for bringing in fibroblasts and scar tissue and everything else like that. So that's how I got started in this. And then luckily, through my fellowship in sports medicine, I got to see the best of the best and how they managed and which is very similar to how you manage and treat your injuries, is that they were seeking out the best, and they were all flying to different areas in Germany. This was before cellular medicine got popular in the US in 10, 15 years ago. And every single one of them, and I can name a lot of professional athletes that we all know that were having procedures done here, and then boom, out to Europe, boom, out to here, boom, and they'd come back and they were on the field doing, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what's going on? And why aren't we even talking about this here in the
Yeah.
US, right? And
Well, because we have a system where
Don't get me started.
Where
Yeah.
politicians who vote on these things
Yeah.
are allowed to take money from
Yes.
corporations who
Yeah.
have profit to gain
Yeah.
by not passing certain things through.
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
that's how I found out about all this when I first was going through my spine thing.
Yeah.
Is it was very disheartening to learn all about that part of the medical industry and why certain procedures weren't being allowed, or why we weren't doing research on certain things. And it's because, corporations that had investments in specific medicines that they didn't want to see change
Yeah.
and further advance would lobby and keep,
That's exactly right.
and it's just such bullshit,
I've been-
because it's that's what it is. It's corporate greed superseding the well-being of the consumer, of the residents of you know what I mean, of the country that they're in, or I don't know what you would call it, but it's the greed is superseding everything.
Yeah.
And the well-being of man.
Absolutely.
And that's where you have a problem.
And I saw it first out in Washington when we first started doing this. I was part of the organizations that were lobbying to push this, and that's one, it fell on deaf ears, and two, the response that we were getting is that we can't patent and synthesize stem cells in PRP, meaning we can't make a shit ton of money off of it. So that's not important to us. It's unimportant if we can't make money off it, right? Because it's stem cells, it's natural, whatever, and that's exactly right. And so there's zero push. And then obviously
You're actually trying to make less money off it, because right now you have to pay for it. You have to
Yeah.
pay out of pocket. But if it's accepted and insurance covers it, and
that's exactly right.
then it's different. And now, so it's
There's so many good studies out there, and obviously it's hard to compare apples to apples with it. Every pathology is different, and then especially there's so many different systems, and we're getting better at knowing what those cell counts are, that dose response curve, meaning how many cells we need, viable cells that we need to get the response that we're looking for.
Yeah, whether it be 30 million, 80 million, that type of thing.
Exactly. And then what type of cells? Is it stem cells? Is it exosomes? Is it platelets? What are the growth factors that we need? Peptides obviously are a big part of the conversation right now. And it's overwhelming how many studies, are being done, and how many good studies are demonstrating therapeutic benefits over traditional treatments, cortisone, Toradol, all the different medications and stuff out there for arthritis, rotator cuff tears, et cetera. And Medicare's looking at this because in order for like United or Blue Cross or Blue Shield to kind of authorize these things or put them on their fee schedule, Medicare has to recognize them, right, and approve it. So everything starts with Medicare. And I think Medicare looked at it a handful of years ago and they say, that's awesome. How's this going to save us money over the course of 9 years? Right?
Yeah.
10 years?
Yeah.
Like not so much like, oh, this is working. There's research that shows that there's
it's almost going to cost them money because it's like, oh, wait, we're keeping people alive longer.
Right,
exactly. Because people don't understand. They're like, well, how is stem cell going to keep somebody alive longer? It's not just the fact that we're going to put stem cell and fix your kidney failure. It's not about that. It's about, okay, if you're a better version of yourself, there's less likely overall that people are going to trip and fall.
Exactly.
And break a hip, and then it's going to change
all the comorbidities.
Totally. So it can change everything. So it's actually going to cost them more money.
Exactly right. And that's been my mission all the time. It's like they're so nearsighted in them now. And it's super reasonable. Like you look at the cost of a total joint, not only just the procedure itself and the surgeon fee, but the facility fee and the hospital stays and the rehab afterwards. It's astronomical. And so now they're like, okay, well, let's see these cost saving studies, which are these longitudinal, like these 9 to 15 year studies, right?
Yes,
that have to happen to show that, okay, if you intervene now, exactly what you're saying, all the potential complications, the falls, the complications that come with becoming sedentary, right? The heart disease and all that stuff that come. And so that's where we're looking at right now. And who knows how long that's
it has to be proven. In this country, it has to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt that this is really working and this actually works, even though every single citizen at that point is like common knowledge that they know this is working.
I know, exactly. And it's just like,
it's crazy.
I know. It's like,
but
where's the level one? Yeah, where's the level one study that Band-Aid stops bleeding? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, it's just like, it's so silly. So I decided to stop fighting it. Not that I don't want to continue to advocate for on our patients' behalf, because ultimately, I always say, in a perfect world, this is the very next step. Because the answer to, let's just say, arthritis in general, the answer through the system right now is physical therapy, anti-inflammatory medications, cortisone injections, which is shit, cortisone, maybe some gel injections, and then a replacement. Right? Yeah. Where is the in between? You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, just wait till it's bad enough and get it replaced.
Yeah.
Right? Like just completely decrease your quality of life. And
I saw spine surgeons that said they wanted me to basically be in a wheelchair before they do surgery.
Yeah.
For originally, first surgery.
Right.
And I was just like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
What a dark path to go down.
And not to mention the psychological effects of that, depression, all this stuff that comes with just sitting on your ass.
That part of it is so intense that I say this, and I've said it before, and people have heard me say it, and I really, it's such a fucked up thing to say. But before my first original spine surgery, because I'm still happy. I'm happy, even though I have to replace this stuff and get a change out or whatever. I'm very happy with it because I was living. It was so horrible before it that if I didn't have a family, I probably would have taken myself out. Yeah, because I was in such a dark place. Yeah, and everyone was telling me that I was just going to be in pain for the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. I had one guy say, hey man, if somebody tells you they're going to fix this, they're lying. You're just going to be in pain for the rest of your life. And the best thing that you can do is just a lot of yoga, and I'll put you on a pain management program of just basically dosing me with painkillers.
Yeah, pretty much hospice.
And I remember I went home and I was thinking to myself, man, if people didn't rely on me, to give them a good quality of life, I would just take myself out. I didn't want to live like this anymore.
Yeah.
And I lived a pretty good life so far. So I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
But and that's a really messed up thing to say, but yeah, it puts you in a really dark place.
Yeah.
When you don't have anyone telling you that they can help you in any way, shape, or form, and that you're just going to have to slowly deteriorate and be in more and more pain until you finally just
Yeah.
die
Yeah.
someday.
Here,
I don't know.
change your identity, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
be someone different until it's bad enough, right?
Yeah. It's
And then-
pretty, it was pretty messed up.
That's so heavy.
And,
Yeah.
you know, by the way, thanks for actually calling me an athlete, because Dr. G,
you are an
Dr.
athlete.
G always says, you're not an athlete. You're an
What?
artist.
Oh my God.
Because he works
Yeah.
on professional
Yeah.
athletes, and I think he just likes to mess with me. And
Yeah,
he's
for
like,
sure.
you're not an athlete.
Oh, he's
dude.
love busting
Yeah.
balls. You're an athlete by every definition.
Oh,
of the
thank
word,
you. I
for sure.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
I just don't get paid to
Oh,
break myself.
That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
We love Dr. G. Yeah.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah. You see him regularly still, right?
I do. I see him all the time.
Yeah.
I'm actually, and they'll vouch for this, I am like the handyman
Yeah.
around there.
Oh,
So
you are? Yeah.
I go and I fix so many. I've fixed a bunch of machines there.
Yeah.
I'm really handy. I
Yeah.
can fix anything. I've
Yeah.
worked on all kinds of engines, things. I'm a problem solver, and I know how to
and you
use
make your own, fashion. I mean, you make your own
machines. Yeah,
too,
tattoo
yeah.
machines. I
Yeah.
make my own tattoo machines from scratch.
yeah.
I don't make my own because if I make it, I'm going to sell the machine,
Right.
and my own are like sentimental ones that my mentors have given me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I actually fix machines. I got to fix his magnet, one of his magnets. I think
yeah.
I figured out the problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see him all the time. I mean, I'm broken.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm
Maintenance.
always active, and I'm maintaining
Yeah.
myself. So
Yeah.
I go into his office, Range Sports Therapy,
Yeah. Absolutely.
and I'm constantly, I'm like, they actually say when I walk in, they say, what are you working on today, Tim?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what they say, because
yeah.
it's not like,
Right.
one thing.
Right.
And I go, you know what? I'll be honest, my right here has been acting up. I
Yeah.
don't know what's going on. I've been it's because I've been tattooing and surfing constantly.
Yeah.
And so they work on that and
You
just
have
put
to.
me in a little relief and get me back to normal
That's
faster.
My PA says that you can't be a Formula One racer without constant maintenance. So
Totally.
Right?
That's just how it is. Yeah.
He's created a pretty awesome environment too, similar to what you've done at Classic. Is that almost like that barbershop, tattoo shop, like
yeah.
and he does it intentionally, which is cool. I went down there and visited him a couple times, and he talks a lot about that open kind of floor plan with everyone there going through
It's
recovery.
wonderful.
And and it's just like you can be your vulnerable self, and obviously the banter and everything that goes on there.
All
It's
walks of life.
all walks of life.
Talking
yeah.
story.
Yeah, yeah.
It's wonderful.
It's
I
so
love
cool. And I feel I'm remotely and a part of it too. Sometimes I'll have a patient, a couple patients in there at the same time, and they'll reach out and send pictures and videos and everything else like that. It's a really, really cool setup, and he's done a really good job of that.
it. It
as
is.
well.
Yeah.
So,
I'm grateful that Sonny Garcia actually took me to him.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
couldn't go on a double date with Sonny and his ex-wife, my wife and him, and he was like, "Why?"
Yeah.
And I go, "Dude, I can't even get off the couch right now." It was before my spine
You're
surgery,
back. Yeah.
and he picked me up the next morning. The next morning he was there, and he
Mhm.
took me to G's and introduced me,
Yeah.
and G and I became close.
Yeah. That's so
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's kind of an interesting path too that you went through, as far as you were talking a little bit about the kind of the North Shore, and then the introduction and kind of getting kind of intermixed in there
Yeah.
as well. It's interesting. It wasn't intentional on my part, but I feel like professionally the same thing has happened to me. You work with one person that kind of grows to another person, that grows to another person, that grows to another person. All of a sudden you're in this incredible community taking care of the best of the world.
Yeah.
And realizing
It's like a positive networking, because
Positive
it's
networking.
happening organically.
yeah, absolutely.
And like attracts like.
yeah.
So good people start attracting more good people, and then you're
Absolutely.
meeting these amazing people,
Yeah.
and everyone's lifting you up and
Yeah.
learning from each other, and
I love this. I'm full of quotes. Obviously, I love them, but
Me too.
That's I think you live this as well. Is that create a life and a business to where your patients or your clients come in, they could be your best friends.
yes.
Like it's so true to yourself that they could be your friends, and I feel like you've done that, man, for
Oh,
sure.
thank you.
yeah,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
My doctor buddy,
yeah,
he was a client. Came to me when he was
Yeah.
like 18, 19, and he
Yeah.
just loved tattoos and started getting tattooed.
yeah,
And I would do these walk-in days where I if you could skip the appointments, you could skip waiting 6 months, or sometimes I wouldn't even take an appointment.
Yeah.
And I do these walk-in days, first come, first serve. And
Mhm.
he would be waiting there at like 8 a.m,
Yeah.
sleeping on the porch. He started getting beat out by other people. So he'd get there at 11 o'clock the night before and set up a whole bed and sleep in front of the tattoo shop to be
Oh.
first in line to get tattooed. And now he's one of my best friends.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
And I watched him
Yeah.
go through not graduating high school
yeah,
and lying and getting accepted into college and never producing the paperwork,
yeah,
and then working his ass off and getting accepted into med school,
yeah,
and then graduating from med school, top in his class, because he outworked everyone.
Right.
He'll tell you, he's
Yeah.
like, I wasn't the smartest one there. I
Right.
just outworked everyone.
Yeah.
And then finally being like, yeah, the rumors are true. I never even graduated high
Yeah.
school.
Oh
You
my
know, it's
God.
never too late to turn your life around.
Right.
I met him all through him
Yeah.
literally sleeping on the tattoo shop porch
Yeah.
to make sure he was first in line for my walk-in days.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And you cultivated that, meaning like going back to the beginning of the conversation is creating an experience to where you're connecting with the person that you are tattooing or working on. From my perspective, is really trying to understand them and who they are, because that changes. And now I get to meet people like you and connect with people like you who have very like-minded in so many ways. You as a
Likewise.
father.
That's how I met Billy.
Yeah. Oh, really?
He called up my business partner, Ryan Rawson, who's an ex-pro surfer from the North Shore.
Yeah.
Excuse me. He called up, Ryan was like, please, can you get me in to see Tim to get
Yeah.
a tattoo? He wanted to get tattooed by me, and he came in. And then Billy and I got close, you know, you hang out with somebody tattooing them for hours.
For sure.
And then he introduced me to you.
Yeah.
And now we are here
Yeah.
recording a podcast.
I love it. Oh, I'm so grateful you flew up from Southern California.
Oh,
Thank you
yeah,
so
yeah.
much for your time, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries.
Is there anything else that you had on your list over there that we want
I
to talk
mean,
about? Or are we good to
dude,
go?
that list is too big. I looked at it and I was like, there's no way we're going to be able to get through this. I'm surprised we got through as much as we did.
Where's it out? Oh, we got through some good stuff. I don't think I might have closed it. Dang it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
3 broken noses.
I think it's
It broke recently, like 5 months ago. I was just doing light sparring with my friend, and I just heard it pop. I just walked into something, and I'm like, I can't even believe this. And my coach goes, "Did you just break your nose?" I'm all, "I think so." And I walked to the mirror, and it was over this way, which is nice because it's always broken over this way, both times before. So now I can breathe better.
Yeah.
And I just grabbed my glove and I went pop, and it sounded like
Reduced
a
it.
pencil snap.
Yeah.
Put it right back in place,
Yeah.
and then bled for a little bit, and I went to work.
Yeah.
And I just lived my life.
Can you breathe through it? Can you breathe fine?
I actually breathe better through it.
Better
now.
now?
I broke
Yeah.
it back the other way. I'm really stoked about that.
Dude, like mouth breathing definitely takes, I don't know. I mean, I went through the same thing. I ended up having to have a procedure because you don't realize the effects that it can have on you over years and years.
Affects your heart.
Yeah.
It can put you into heart failure
Absolutely.
over years and years of sleep apnea.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I noticed it. Gosh, I mean, when you're young, again, you can compensate. And as soon as I started, losing energy, my ability to kind of keep up with the energy of my kids, I was like, no, it's not. I have the vitality. I have the energy. What's going on?
Yeah.
Had it looked at. And I was like 90% occluded and 100%. I had 10% on one side. That's all I was doing. So it's mouth breathing and then just
I
slowly
still
killing
put
myself.
breathe right strips on every night too, just to get a little extra oxygen in there. I've been sleeping way better.
Oh my God. It's everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever read that book, Breath by James Nestor? Or Breathe?
No.
That's really good.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, no, it's even just to listen. You already know the importance of it, but he really breaks down nose breathing, mouth breathing, and the vitality and everything. Like what you said with the, he goes into like the, I think what he ended up doing. Didn't he like close his nose?
I just started the book.
Oh, you just started the book. Yeah. He actually mimics mouth breathing for a long time and was looking at labs and looking at all of his medical information and data to figure out what the physiological effects of it and how fast that can happen by not breathing through your nose.
Yeah.
And he talks a lot about the kind of ancestors and how meat eaters, and we were supposed to, and we were designed to eat a certain, and our jaws were supposed to work in a certain way, and how we started to regress because of our diet and the food that we're eating, and processed things and shakes and all that stuff as well. And so he talks a lot about the skull structure in our jaws and how that's changed everything. So
because your back molar there is number 2.
Yeah.
Because the other one is number 1.
Number 1. That's right.
Your what are those? Wisdom teeth.
That's right.
Yeah, so ribs shattered from snowboarding. I was learning how to do inverted maneuvers, and I overshot the landing and shattered my ribs and fractured my vertebrae. Broke a rib boxing. I was sparring, and I broke my rib, and then I waited a few months for it to feel better, and then I was sparring again, and Javier, I'm not kidding you, re-broke that same rib,
Oh, no.
and that was 10 times more painful than breaking it the
Ribs
first
are
time.
gnarly,
And so I left it for 9 months. And it still hurts now and then. And I swear, I asked my this friend of mine that she's a client friend.
Mm-hmm.
She was like the first female Muay Thai American champion, I believe. But I asked her about broken ribs. She says, Tim, I have ribs that I broke 10 years ago that still hurt sometimes.
Yeah.
Thumb fracture from skateboarding. MCL tear that you looked at
Yep,
and
yep,
helped
yep.
me out with, and
Yep.
I did BPC
Yeah.
for, and it healed. It almost healed like too fast,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It like kind of like rat's nest.
Rat's nest.
Yeah, rat's nest type of heal
Yeah.
from healing too fast.
And you're saying it still gets stiff on you a little bit. here
Nah,
and
just a
there
little
too, as
stiff, but
well.
honestly, nothing that's like to write home about.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. That's
Is
the
that my
scenario.
knee? Do you have my knee? Oh yeah, look at that. There it
Got your
is.
knees right here.
There's
on
my
the inside.
MCL tear.
Deep MCL injury.
You know, I kept surfing. I went, ow, that kind of hurts. And I was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Did I hurt my did I hurt
Yeah.
my knee? And
Yeah.
I kind of went, I mean, it feels okay. Probably just superficial. And I paddled out and I kept surfing, and then I
Yeah.
just lived my life.
Yeah.
And the pain went away.
Mhm.
And then I was walking at Disneyland all day one day with Fred Pataccia and his
Yeah.
family, Fred and Missy.
Uh-huh.
And the next morning it was so inflamed, and
lit
that's
up.
when I finally got the MRI, and
Yeah.
they're like, you
Yeah.
tore it.
Yeah.
Was it more than halfway through?
Yeah. Yeah. You had a grade 2 tear all the way through that deep MCL.
Just live my life.
Yeah.
No big
And
deal.
those-
Grade 2 MCL tear, just
Dude,
living my life.
They're painful. Maybe it's your relationship with pain.
I didn't even swell up.
Oh,
It
really?
didn't even get
Oh
swollen.
my gosh.
I don't know what. I think my body's like,
Yeah.
this is
minor. Yeah.
We've done worse than
Much
this.
bigger to
Oh
deal
my
with.
God.
And
So
yeah.
I started doing the BPC and all that, and taking it easy and icing it,
Those
and
can be a nuisance for sure.
and it healed,
Yeah.
and it feels really good now. My knees feel strong. I've been
Yeah.
really fortunate
Yeah.
with knees.
Yeah.
I still have good knees.
Do you do anything strengthening? I mean, I know you box, but do you do anything to load the knees? Any weight, like lifting on it, squats?
I don't, because I don't want to lift a lot of weights.
Yeah,
But what I do is we have this place in Fullerton called Stairs.
Yeah.
It's at this park, and there's 220 stairs,
Mhm.
and some of them are steeper than others, but
Yeah.
it's continuous 220 stairs. And so what I do is I no joke, I do this real like precise kind of jog up them now, but I used to just do double step, nice strong double steps, and I focus a lot on my posture and how I'm doing them and where I'm, because if you do them closer together and you do them further apart,
how your hips move, and
how my hips move, you know, more like
Yeah.
ballerina,
Right,
or
right.
more, what is it, like they call them sumo squats?
Yeah, sumo
like,
squats, externally rotated. Yeah,
yes,
internally
or this
rotated.
for whether it's
Yeah.
VMO or my
Absolutely.
outside quads. But I do 800 to 1,000 of those. So I
Yeah.
do 4 or 5 rounds, and in
Damn.
between on the way down, I do 20 push-ups
Yeah.
and 20 dips.
Yeah.
So by the time it's done, I do 800 some odd stairs to 1,000 some odd stairs.
Mhm.
And between 80 and 100 push-ups and 80 and 100 dips.
Love it.
I do that. I try to do it at least a couple times a week.
Yeah.
So I think that's what helps my,
Yeah.
I do stuff that
Keeps
help
you
my
going.
knees.
Yeah. It helps protect. I mean, you hear it all the time. Muscles in and around the joints is body armor for the joints, and
Yes.
not only just strength but also mobility, right? Through it as
Yeah.
well. And that's my weakness, is I don't spend enough time on that. Maybe because I create a life that
Yeah, you're living your life, man. It's hard for me
it is.
sometimes. I'm
It's
like,
so
I don't
hard.
have
And so
fitting in time to work out. I remember my people were doing, oh, you should do the 75 hard. I'm like,
Yeah.
you high?
oh my god.
When would I ever find time to do that? I'm like, well, parents do it. I go, yeah, because they can afford nannies
Yeah.
to watch their kids. I don't have time to do 75 hard.
How long did I last on the 75? I lasted like, I want to say a week, not even a week on the 75. I was like, I'll try it. What I found, because of my schedule, is my family was inside at 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, and I was out in the gym working out.
Yes.
And I wasn't spending any time with him. I was like, what am I doing? You know, like just
and I
because
hate working out at night.
Yeah.
I have a hard time sleeping. I like working out in
yeah,
the
because it
morning.
increases your cortisol levels, right? Like
Yes.
you want your cortisol to spike in the morning, not at night. Right?
Yeah.
As soon as it goes
So
at
I
night.
work out in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm in the boxing gym by 7 a.m. I am doing the stairs and done with it before the kids, before I make the kids breakfast.
Yeah.
So that's where I find
and
the
you
time.
don't go into, you create an awesome routine where you don't go into work till like what, noon or 1 or something like that, right?
So I actually go in a little earlier.
Oh, you do?
I
Yeah.
go in I get there around 10:30 and I
Yeah.
start at 11. I start
Yeah.
an hour earlier.
Okay.
Just sometimes I have one appointment and I'm out right when the kids get out of school, and it's great.
Mhm.
So I work it around the kids being in school. I like to get as much done while they're in school.
Yeah. Perfect.
And then that way I spend more time with
What
them.
percentage are you actually working with clients, and what percentage
Tattooing?
Are you working? Yeah, tattooing, and what percentage are you
I
actually working
tattoo
on the business?
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Mhm.
and I work from about 11 to about 4 or 5 sometimes, but sometimes I'm out a little early around 3.
Yeah.
Go to 1, 2
Yeah.
tattoos.
Yeah.
And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I own a tattoo supply company where I do medical and tattoo supplies, and I work on that and various other things, you know, art things, tattoo machines, different things like that. So I still will work 5 days a week, but I balance it now, and I'm able to work how much I want and when I want. And so I'm able to spend a lot of time. I'm a very present dad.
Yeah, I love that.
It's very important to me because they're only young once, and you don't get any of that time back.
Yeah.
And I'm very fortunate that I had kids later in life, because if I would have had kids in my 20s, I'd spend the rest of my life begging for their forgiveness for how terrible of a dad I was. I already know it. There's no way around it. And so I'm like, man, I'm in such a lucky position. So I just try to be as present as possible, you know, and I'm not perfect.
Having a
you know what I mean?
Having a 9-year gap did that for me. I mean, not to say that, you know, my son's still young, he's only 14, but still the things that maybe the way that I parented when he was younger is very different than I'm parenting now. And I jokingly say this all the time, like, I'm probably going to be apologizing to you for the rest of my life, you know, and I'm so quick to apologize where I feel like I miss, but at the same time, like to model that for, you know, my kids to say, you know, it's okay, right? As long as you recognize it and you're working to kind of be better and better.
Just the fact that you recognize that you didn't like the way you parented in that moment and that you apologize to it and have a discussion with them is, I think, is so huge in itself.
Yeah.
It teaches your kids that, you know, just because I'm dad doesn't mean I'm always right all the time, because a lot of dads are like that. They'll never apologize, and they'll just be like, nope, this is the way, and I yelled at you over and snapped at you over this stupid little thing when you were just really being a kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
And sometimes I have a talk with both my boys, and, you know, one of them, he holds it onto it a little longer, whereas the other one is like, it's okay, Dad.
Yeah.
I understand. We were being crazy.
Yeah.
And he gives me a hug and walks off. I'm like, this kid just lets shit go.
Yeah,
he's going to have such an easier time throughout life.
I have one of each as well, you know.
But I think that's what's important. And I talk to him about it, and we have a discussion.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I apologize, and then they apologize, and we hug it out. And then they live their lives, and we try not to hold any grudges. And so I think that alone is just setting themselves up for like how the formula of how they're going to treat their relationships with people and with the loved ones.
Yeah, absolutely. Go first. I always say, just go first. Put the ego aside and just, you know, just go first. You know, apologize and let it go, right? Take down the barrier, the bridge, whatever is there, right? If you can be the first, you're going to give permission to the other people around you to do the same thing. So,
All right.
Killer, man.
Should we end on that note?
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you.
Thanks for having
so
me.
much.
I appreciate it. Honestly,
Yeah,
like
this
was
fun.
a total joy.
Yeah, a total joy. And gosh, learned so much about you through this, which is amazing too
good.
as well. So
Thanks.
Killer. Well, hopefully I'll catch you down in SoCal. I'll let you know when I'm down there. I'd love to swing by and say hi.
100%. Yeah.
And obviously visit G. Hopefully I can catch you over there too.
Yeah,
as well.
anytime you're down.
Okay.
Because like I said, my schedule's very open.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All
Cheers,
right,
brother.
man.
Yeah.